everybody, welcome back to Wappleville. Welcome back to Slaine. We're gonna do another set of figures here. We've actually got the two main guys here. We've got him and his little goblin buddy. We also have the warped forge version of him there. Look at that. I mean, that's pretty crazy, right? Armored wolf. Check this. That is really demented. And it's actually very accurate to the comic book, believe it or not. I mean, that's literally what he looks like. Well, he actually looks more demented than that sometimes when he's warp forged. Not so sure what we do with this guy right here. Not so sure about him. But again, he looks very much like guys from the comic book stuff, and even his little gobble buddy, he kind of does look like that. Hey there, Ryan. Nice to see you. We're gonna approach these the same way we approached these, right? And so right, we had a blast with little tattoos and everything on these guys, right? I gotta do these tonight so that they are dry, so that we can get all of our foliage on these as soon as possible. So we're gonna be doing some dry brushy stuff here. Let's grab ourselves a filbert. That ain't a filbert. That's a filbert. And let's just start hammering away at this here. Oh, I need to get me some more of my green out there, aren't I? Looks like we got S. Fulton, Van Dyke Brown. Yeah, here, a little bit more of that. Alright, and huge secret what we're going to do here. An absolute mystery, very complicated. Take a lighter color and start dry brushing it on there. So Ryan, great to see you. Today was Monday, right? Hopefully your Monday was okay. I'm completely at a loss for what day or time it is anymore. It was a very active weekend, and well, at least we got our Sunday stream in for our first batch of Slaine figs. These I'm pretty sure are the last 4 from that starter set. Again, nothing too fancy here. Now, just going with the illustration, or I guess you take the comic book version of this guy here. It's going to be just dark, really dark here. I think that's what they show his hair as being. Nice to see you there, Deck Knight. I hope that you're doing well, Deck Knight. You know what? We're just doing this. Look at this, Ryan. This is a really complicated start to the evening here. Look at this. Now that's what you call color variation, right, Ryan? Look at that. That is extreme color variation. I'll just say that it's we have a new version of film noir. It's oh, what is that? Sepia? Yeah, it's sepia tone instead of film noir. Ah, boy, Ryan, sorry to hear about that. Actually, my sister, I think, in the course of the last month, has had to replace washer, microwave, stove. I mean, just one after the other after the other. So sorry about that, Ryan. And of course, now Ryan, was it something that just was out of nowhere? He said, "Whoa, what's going on here? This thing's not that old." Or was it something where you said, "Okay, hopefully we get 3-5 more years out of this, then maybe we get something new." But glad that there wasn't too much Monday in your Monday there, Deck Knight. I mean, look, it is kind of it's almost a bit like what is it? Zenithal, right? Zenithal, I think that's what all the cool kids do. See, we can be cool also. Look at that, we're being cool. Now, hopefully, he's not going to bounce around too much because he's just on his little thin ankle there, and it will. Yeah, you gotta be careful with this material here because it will break, as I found out. So yeah, this material here, it's a little bit on the side, but Jeez, Ryan, you don't want to know how old the one is here. You do not want to know how old this refrigerator is. Well, let's put it this way. It could go back to the 1980s. The washing machine is probably the washing machine that was in this house in 1974. So, yeah, it's one of them good old-fashioned ones. And, all kidding aside, Ryan, that's the case because my sister that just had to buy the new washing machine, she said 9 times out of 2 she would rather have the old 50-some-odd-year-old washing machine than what she's got now. Thank you so much, Landrast. Appreciate that. How you doing there? And like Armored Wolf says, there's been a universe of Monday today. Yeah. I could have done without that, for sure. I think a lot of folks could have done without that particular Monday stuff. So how you doing there, Landrast? So Landrast, I actually found some more roundhouse stuff. I found one that had actually a ruined roundhouse. I found another one that had sort of like a full-on enclosure. So I think we'll have a nice variety of Dunlending terrain, don't you think, Landrast? Because Dunlendings, right? I mean, I just needed one real quick just to print out for Little Wars, right? To have this stuff there, but when it comes time for a Dunlending stuff, yeah, we'll be able to do a whole bunch of different stuff there. Now, there we go. Okay, so I think that that gets us on our way. Let's go a little further. Ooh, okay, fine. Fine. We'll do this. We got that. Not radiant, whatever. It's the brilliant. Oh, what the heck is brilliant violet? That's what it's. Brilliant violet light. Now we're just going to do some of this here. So yeah, sorry that the stream is later. I was actually shooting for 9 o'clock tonight. Negatory on that. Holy smokes. Now we're gonna keep going here. Maybe a little bit on the tree. Such as it is. A little bit on the axe here. Let's do this. And, yeah, let's just keep doing this here. Ryan, that is, that was a bit of a surprise. I mean, honestly, I sent a message to Armored Wolf saying, man, somebody missed April Fool's Days by a couple of weeks. I mean, that was, if it were earlier in April, I honestly would have thought that was that was the case. I don't know how it is for you. But yeah, that is, well, let me see here. Let's do this. Now, there is one thing that is now part of the mix. So, Brian, remember I couldn't do the Lord of the Rings tournament because it was in another building? Well, if it's all going to be in the same building, then I guess maybe Lord of the Rings is back on the menu. Hey there, Green Fury Studios. So all of a sudden I'm thinking, all right, if that's the case, now I don't have to worry about shuttle buses or something like that. So okay, we'll just do that. You'll get a little bit more light here. And we'll do a bit of this here. So Green Fury, that's why the stream is later, because at first there was a trickle of messages, and then it became a torrent of messages. All right, we got our light stuff in there now. Yeah, let's use this as a. So kind of we did the same thing here, basically. Right, did the same thing here. Now we're going to start doing some glazy stuff here. Oh, what are we going to use for this? This one again? Sure. Well, no, wait a minute. Let me see if I can get away with this. One of our fabulous One True brushes. Fabulous One True brush. What are we doing here? Perline black. Also perline black. Perhaps tinted with some more perline black. Oh, and a little asphaltum. More thinner though. How's this gonna go? Bam. Yep. Something like that. Well, actually, Green Fairy. I was gonna say, oh, we need to do like a new abbreviation for it, but somehow I'm thinking that soils won't be quite so popular. Green Fairy. I was like, oh, we need to have our own like little abbreviation for it, and all I could think of was soils. Again, somehow that might not make it as might not catch fire the way we think it will. So yeah, I think it might just have to remain slap chop oils instead of soils. That might have a hint of negative connotation to it. They don't show his they have his skin as basically like a brown, if I remember. Fine, we'll do this instead. I don't remember. Yeah, I think he had. Yeah, he had some kind of weird pants on or something. All right, where's the? Here's more leaves. More leaves, more whatever. Yeah. There. Oh, geez, I forgot all about all the these things here too. Thank you so much, Grant Oracle. Appreciate that. Well, Slanya to you there. So, Grant Oracle, great to see you. Sorry the stream is later tonight. Just a wee bit of chaos going down. That's for sure. Okay, wow. We have ourselves a lot of perline black in here now. Yeah. We got plenty of it there. Holy smokes. Okay, well, that's good. It's all right. Since we Okay, a little more thinner maybe. A little more thinner there. Hey there, Borat. How you doing? No, actually, I'm just using oils like the oils. This is a very typical thing. A lot of people, well, with the vehicle stuff, Borat, actually, a lot of folks do the pin line wash thing. Normally, we'd be doing a pre-glaze, but with stuff like this, where there's just, well, the miniatures are pretty fragile, and there would be a good chance of maybe breaking something off. It's a little bit of a safer approach to doing this without without having to worry about busting up the miniatures there. But it is a little bit like a zenithal, right, Borat? Looks a bit like a zenithal. Difference is, with contrast paint and everything else, you can't mix anything here. This is actually all mixing at the same time. Okay, we don't have any. Okay, we got that there. Oh, jeez. We don't have this, and you can see eventually what we're doing right there. All right, any more of the green stuff here? Not really seeing any more there, so I'm going to start to infuse something else. And what do we want to do for his pose? I'll go with some indigo. Well, we got Prussian blue on there as well. We'll try for a tartan here perhaps as well. So again, all that. Remember, this is wet on wet. This is not, none of this is dry, which means this will all be mixing simultaneously here. Uh, okay, not a lot going on there. Now let me get to more, a little bit of the Mars black thrown in there. So Grand Oracle, I hope things are a little bit easier there. And again, Ryan, sorry about the fridge there, which didn't have to worry about that kind of thing. Now again, you can see it actually is mixing right there. Now here, not so much because we don't have any of our lighter color there, but right there, that was mixing right there. Now let me get some Van Dyke Brown. Oops, there we go. And some of the Mars Black together. A little more. Blammo, there you go. Shaman here. Something like this. There we are. Smidge over here too. Where's the, here you are. So again, this is the, was it the Warped Forged version of our main character. See that? See how that's mixing right there? So Ryan, I'm taking the terracotta primer and actually Ryan, if you watch, I think it's the second segment in the latest video with the Dark Angel, you actually see me mixing the two together. So it's the terracotta and what's the black. Terracotta and black together. Oh gosh, maybe 85% of the black primer at least. But yeah, that's as far as, so you don't have to hunt around through too much stuff. I know that in the latest, again, the Dark Angels video, it's not the intro segment, but I think it's the next one after that. It goes, you see me actually priming the miniature, so that might be helpful. Look at this, look at that. See that? Now this semi-opaque. There's a little bit of our lighter stuff in there. Yeah, this is the other thing too, is that glazes, they don't have to be all translucent, right? Look at that. See that? That's actually got some opacity to it. And if I let it actually mix with some of the stuff on here, well, guess what? We get ourselves some more. Look at that. And that worked out really well, again, for our last night for all of these guys, right, Summerlin? Welcome back, Summerlin. We got this is the rest of the guys. So we did 5 last night. Here's the other 4. Green Fairy, it's a lot like our 2D stuff, right? I mean, it genuinely feels like watercolors, but with none of the disadvantages that can happen with watercolors. So that's really, I mean, let's see that. See that? That's actually the opaque stuff, that previous sort of dry brush mixing with this. So see a lot of those cooler grays and stuff like that? Well, that's kind of happening. See, that's where the zenithal stuff that people do, that's just, well, as we call it, that's like a dead zenithal, right? Where all you're doing is just painting over the top of it. Here, we're actually interacting with that. We're actually using that. All right, there you go. So great to see you there, Summerlin. I hope that you're doing well. Happy Monday, of course. Now, thing is, we can only do so much with this before we say, well, we better set this aside. Because, nice and shiny there, right? So and you can already see, though, some of the other stuff we did. Look at the leaves. Those used to be just as shiny as this. Not quite as shiny anymore. So great to see you there, Twitch Summerlin. And oh, and great again to see you there, Green Fairy. And of course, Grand Oracle. I hope that things maybe getting a little bit easier there. Doing that again here. Letting some of that lighter stuff that we did actually mix with this. Is that skin too? Yeah, that's even mixing with some of the blue. I mean, just that's the point of the oils, right? Is they get all kinds of wild extra colors that you didn't have to fight for. Yeah, Green Fairy, I was hoping all along that folks would see this and say, okay, that's another approach that I can do, especially at that that starting stage. Whether they see it as something that they would just prefer anyway, or they say, okay, maybe in this situation I'd rather do something this way. This is the well, here we go. Yeah, we're gonna take that Egyptian violet, and we're mixing with a little bit of our Indian yellow, and that's going to go in here. A little more. So the reason I'm using this here bigger brush, again, this is the one true brush, the craft brushes you get from Hobby Lobby. We're just doing this because, so yeah, as you can see, like 2 touches, boom, there's that whole beard. We got our little gobster over here. Boy, geez, sorry about that, Grand Oracle. That does not sound helpful at all. It sounds very much the opposite of helpful. I'm just gonna try and get again some of this on. I don't quite remember what color clothes the little gobbo dude was wearing. Okay, he's got some. Let's just say he's showing a little bit of some crack right there. I did not know that. Just look in there and think that's not pants. That's something else. Let's get these guys. Oh, geez, there's another one stuck in here. Is this... Oh, yeah, this is the only other one. It's got that going. Let me... Fine, I'll throw some of this on the tree here. Unlike our trees that we did with all of our wintry elves, I don't have to worry about putting snow over the top of this, so the tree can get, I guess, a little bit lighter. Alright, where's that Van Dyke Brown here? I guess I'm going to need, maybe need some more of that out here. Well, let's just hit this. Come on. That doesn't go there. Now, again, sorry about that, Grand Oracle. Wow, yeah, I mean, if I can, maybe I'll try to do a Wednesday stream. Since we'll be missing, well, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know about a Sunday stream because, well, I'm supposed to be doing that streamiversary thing on Monday. Also, there is this thing called The Voice that I am trying to preserve in some way, shape, or form. So maybe it kind of depends. I have to find out. I'll be asking Paul tomorrow just exactly is it Thursday or if it's if he's not coming here Thursday to snag me, although I'm pretty sure he is. Then I would definitely be able to, I think, do a Wednesday stream. But again, I'm pretty sure that he's gonna have to be coming by here Thursday. Fine, I'll just hit this too. I don't care. We really worry about the details. Oh, yeah, that's just skin right there. Yeah, man, just, oh, geez, I gotta get some of those vehicles ready. Who knows, maybe, well, no, if I do that, then I wouldn't be able to bring it to Little Wars. I was thinking I could actually try and paint up an M18 or something like that on stream so that we could do the winter and weathering stuff on it at Little Wars, but that wouldn't quite work. Not quite. All right, so we got some stuff here now. All right, what the heck is the? Oh, there you are. Back to our Van Dyke Brown here. I can see even this is already starting to lose the shiny stuff. It's pretty wild how that happens. It doesn't always necessarily take super long for that to happen. What are we doing with this book and all this other stuff here? I don't know. We'll make it a little darker around that edge for right now. It's got his little dagger there. Probably should have a whole bunch of blood all over it. Except I would be doing my blood effects at some other time that is not on stream because gotta wait for the oils to dry first to do that. And alright, what's going on here? Let me get back over it. More of the asphaltum. Hit this. Also this. Not sure what those are supposed to be. Good enough there. Alright, so was it 27 minutes ago? All these here. These were all blank canvas miniatures 27 minutes ago. Now they're not blank anymore. Yeah, right. Do I? Oh, well, this is just like one of his small containers, but that's what the color looks like. Perfect rust color, right? Right. You've seen me do this on a lot of the Vehicles Workshop series. A lot of that on the Vehicles Workshop series. All right, I'm gonna get this out of here. Take our anti-brown here. Trying not to inject more thinner into this. So Ryan, yeah, I was hoping, especially like what we did last night, right? Because there was well, here, let's break out. There's our three guys here. Right, so we did these three guys with the woad and the non-metallic metal and all that good stuff, and then we did these two with the object source lighting. We did all of those in basically a little over, well, it was like 4 hours 20 minutes, something like that. 5 figures, 4 hours 20 minutes, and I do think that the Dark Primer kind of had a little bit of a play in that, because, let me get these guys over here. I think it did, because I didn't have to wait for stuff to set, right? Like here, instead of dry brushing over a color that's already on the wetter side, well, it was totally the opposite, right? And see, I'm even dry brushing in some more dark stuff there. Now that skin tone just might be, well, dry enough. Get some of my fast matte white and some of this here. Touch of that naphthol scarlet in there. Maybe a little bit of our yellow as well. And let's start fooling around with at least some middle tones here on some of the skins. So Ryan, if you wanted to share your latest stuff there in the chat, please go ahead and do that. And Green Fairy, if you want to share some of the things that you're working on too, why don't you go ahead and do that. And yeah, let's get this here. And right, the skin tone would happen so quickly last night. I think we were doing the skin tone, what, 4 of them at the same time. It was really wild to see that. Yeah, we can do the hand here. A little something on the arms there. And now look at this. Yeah, see how that's it's almost like it looks like it's kind of dry. It's certainly not dry, as you can see. We are mixing on here, but it's almost a little bit like a it's like a, what secondary pre-glaze, I think is the term. Yeah, it's kind of the term that I've started to adapt for this, or adopt for this, is a secondary pre-glaze. Instead of kind of doing it the normal way, it sort of happens a little bit after the fact. No problem, no problem there. So Borat, one thing. Now again, I don't know if they'll send him or not, but Green Stuff World was asking if I wanted them for them to send their new inks, because they have opaque and translucent inks. So that I don't know anything about them except for that. And remember how we were doing some of those episodes where we were using the contrast paint more like oils, right? Where we would take well, say like a Achillean green and mix that with some kind of opaque lighter color, and then almost make it like an oil color, or a sort of semi-opaque. Well, that is something that I was thinking, maybe we could do that with the Green Stuff World inks. Again, they have to send them here. Don't know if they will. Yeah, it would be fun if they did. Hey, they're Grey Wolf Studios, and everybody please check out the Instagram link that Ryan shared. So Grey Wolf, thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Sorry that the stream is later. You know why it was later, because yes, there was 1 or 2 messages going on. So my apologies that it's later. And yeah, and Grey Wolf, I think you heard that the streamiversary. Well, that's now it's supposed to be the 22nd. That would be the Monday after Little Wars. We'll see how it plays out. So again, already starting to get the lighter skin tones happening here. There's Mr. Shaman over here. Grand Oracle, when you see just how much time all this saves, right? Like what we did last night, that does not happen with the acrylics. It just doesn't. There's no way. That's not a knock on something or whatever. It's just practicality, just fact, right? It's just kind of how things go. Hey there, Negative Charisma, how you doing? So yeah, Grey Wolf, that's anyway, that is the plan, because I guess that is the official affiliate streamiversary, and the only reason I know that is because Twitch actually sent emails to folks. They say you are approaching your whatever streamiversary. I guess because they're putting special screen, they're doing something special when it is your streamiversary. I don't remember what it is. It's something. I don't know what it is. So negative charisma. I hope that you're doing well. Hopefully your Monday wasn't clogged with too much Monday, as we say. We're gonna here. Let's do some of that lighter stuff there. We'll try to get some violet into the skin tone here as well, because again, this is the warped forged version. Let's do this over here. And we'll do this down here. Oh yeah, oh definitely here. We never even got some of that. Oh geez, yeah. Not a problem, because it's still going to be mixing, and even here we can do it some more with an actual blending brush. Okay. We'll do this now. I never did get the back here. I guess I'll throw. Ooh, that might have been more thinner than I really wanted to get in there. Doesn't matter. It's all okay. Now we'll throw some light this way. Then we'll get remember that we did the perline black mix with some of our skin tone. That sort of created that sort of greenish tone in the shadow areas. We'll do the same thing. Same thing here. Then we also, again, we gotta get his little gobbo buddy too. So if you're not familiar, again, the Slaine comics or whatever, you can kind of get a hint as to what this universe is all about. So yeah, Ryan, I know at least 3 people that told me that was their case. Alright, let's do this. We did this shaman already. I'll just swing back around to our original one here. I do want to get a little bit of the yellow in that. Let's see how see what we end up with here. Okay, so that is okay. That is definitely lighter for sure. Okay. And we'll do the same thing with all the tattoo stuff and everything that we did on our other guys. I think after, well, let's see, maybe I'll do some of the metals or something after this next little go round on the skin here, and give this time to set like we always do. Of course, we'll get mold lineage on this, right? These are not 3D printed. These are not 3D printed like some of our other stuff. So see you later there, Grey Wolf. Thanks so much, Grey Wolf. Appreciate you being here. I'm gonna backtrack. Do that, and then we'll do this. Over here. What's going on with this? back to this one. Hey there, Elite. Happy Tuesday. We still have 58 minutes till we get to a happy Tuesday here. It will be interesting, yeah, because at Little Wars, basically none of the stuff that I'll be painting at Little Wars will be 3D printed. It's all Warlord stuff. Yeah, not gonna be 3D printed. Okay, now we will employ our blending brush here too, where we need it. We're just kind of chucking this on here for right now, and then we'll blend it. Might even wait till we get the greenish colors on there too, and then I might throw some of the violet in there as well. Let me get this going. On the hand. And then here, who knows what kind of, but it'll be really crazy trying to do the tattoos on this. Talking about uneven ground there, uneven surface. So Celia again, Grey Wolf Studio, appreciate you being here for as long as you can. I'll shoot you some messages tomorrow, see how things are going. More of this here, and now that starts to stand out a little bit more now too. Well, let's see. That's okay if the 25th or 22nd is Monday, and Tuesday 22nd, Wednesday 23rd, Thursday 25th. So Friday would be Anzac Day then, Elite. So yeah, our Friday stream would be Anzac Day. That would be very cool. I don't know if we've actually had a stream on Anzac Day. Elite, yeah, I know, I know what you mean there, Elite. Yeah, that happened to me last night. It didn't like that very much. So yeah, Valfira, this is the Warped Forge version. Oh, here he is. So it's the same character again. This is the Warped Forge version. So he basically just kind of goes all wonky, and that's kind of the whole thing about Slaine. That's like the big deal, that he's some kind of well, I mean, even in Celtic mythology, I think you had the Warped Forged, right? That they would just kind of go all beast mode, right? So Valfira, I didn't get a chance to do I thought I had garbanzo beans / chickpeas in the house. Turns out I didn't. So I went to the store and I got one of each. I have a can of garbanzo beans and a can of chickpeas, and we'll try tomorrow, and we'll see if there's any difference between them. So yeah, Valfair, we are going to try and do that little thing we were talking about last night during the stream. All right, taking the blending brush to this here. Agris, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome back. Everybody, please give Agrisnia a follow. Solo, welcome back. And Space G1, how you doing? Thank you so much, Tiger Shady. Welcome back. Hopefully your Monday was a good one. So thank you so everybody. Please give. Oh, I think we have ourselves. We have ourselves a double raid. Might have been one of those where Twitch was twitchy, huh? Maybe Twitch was twitchy and you end up trying to hit it twice or something. So welcome back. So what are we painting here? We are painting some Slaine figures. 45 minutes ago, these had no paint on them. All of these guys were paint free. Now here's some of the ones that we were painting on last night's stream. And as you can see, a bit of a Celtic theme to them, right? So with the woad tattoos and some fun stuff. So again, these are from Warlord. These are three of the ones we painted last night. Yeah, Agris, I'm just thinking like, wow, yeah, lots of crazy things onto it. You never know what's going to happen, right? And here's two more. So we did these 5 miniatures last night on stream with the oil paints. About 4 hours, 15 minutes, 4 hours, 20 minutes-ish, something like that. Now, where's our previous couple of streams? Here, I'll just grab these guys here. You might have seen one of these. I don't know, maybe you saw this. This is a 3D printed Bretonian Pegasus Knight here. You might have seen this one. And this was our third Friday stream. Yeah, this is our Friday stream. This is the Green Knight. Both of these are from Highland Miniatures. So yeah, those are a couple of our recent streams right there. And of course, they go along with some of our other fun. Yeah, it's a Highland Miniatures Bretonian, and then this is actually from Titan Forge right here, the Fey Enchantress. So Tiger Shady, those probably, maybe, probably not, since there was so many other minis being painted at the same time. But there's a bunch actually. Tiger Shady already on the YouTube channel. Yeah, there's a bunch of object source lighting ones. Actually, Tiger Shady. Remember, the other thing that you can do is watch the highlights. Yeah, so the highlights are permanent. So yeah, once I make a highlight of it, it never goes away. So the Twitch channel is actually like a YouTube channel there. So thank you so much, Solo. Appreciate that. So you did get to see the Green Knight there. So that was really fun. We had to do a little bit of freehand on there because this is kind of the Green Knight, right? You always have all the little kind of curly Q freehandy type stuff on it like that. And let's put him back here. And of course, this was another one of our recent sessions right here. That's a Titan Forge Tomb King Chariot. Here's one of the Highland Miniatures Tomb King Chariots right there. So we kind of tried to stay in the same color scheme there. So yeah, Tiger Shady, you can catch basically anything. Well, even all of our fabulous wintry Lothlorien elves, right? All of these again saved as highlights on the Twitch channel there. Now I know that some of these will end up also eventually maybe being a YouTube vid, and of course that's Dark Queen Schmaladriel there. She gets the one true ring, and the next thing you know, well, the forest looks a little bit different than it used to, right? So yeah, the Bretonian stuff, kind of a mix of Highland Miniatures, Titan Forge. Will be. I've got one more Pegasus Knight who is all prepped and ready to go. So Velfira, I hope that you're doing well. So yeah, Velfira, that's why you didn't get any pictures of Chow, because I didn't get a chance to get to the store until it was much later. So we'll do that tomorrow, and I'm sure it'll be fabulous. I'm sure it'll work out just fine. I'll have to do a little bit of online research, right, Velfira, to see, well, just exactly how long. And of course, do you air fry them? Because if you air fry them, it tends to put the temperature at 375. And if you use if you do the roast function, well, it's going to want to put them at 390. So I'm going to have to do a little searching online and see what we want to do. So again, we're going to do that. We are going to grab ourselves a blending brush of some kind here. I guess I've been using this one. I guess we'll stick with it. Little tap, tap, tap here. Again, these are traditional oils right out of the tube. We will be coming back into this with some of our green, some of our violet, not necessarily as a pinline wash, but mostly in the shadow areas around all the crazy veins and everything else. Something wicked this way comes, and it's not Sarge, because Sarge drops off those shamrocks. How you doing there, Sarge? So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Wicked Minis. And of course, Wicked Minis, if you want to share anything in the chat, like always, please go ahead and share something in the chat if you want to. That would be just fine. So we are working on some Slaine miniatures. Where's our other guys here? So basically the main characters of Slaine are these two guys. You have basically Cuchulainn here, and you've got his little goblin buddy. Now you've got, this is his Warpforged version right there, so that's why you got all the crazy stuff going on with him, and you got, well, don't squeeze the shaman, because there are clearly shamans involved, so this is one of the ones we painted last night. We also painted this one up last night, a little bit of source lighting on her, and then here's some more that we did. These were really interesting, and you can see some little minor tattoo stuff going on there. Nothing too crazy, but what we're doing here. Oh, remember that violet we were talking about? It's going to be kind of the same deal. What we did here. That's what we're going to be doing there. So all 5 of those, I don't know, 4 something hours, like 4 hours, 15 minutes, whatever. So Wicked Minis, if you wanted to share anything in the chat, please go ahead and do that, of course. Everybody, please give Wicked Minis a follow if you could. So Wicked Minis, I hope that your Monday was a good one. I hope everybody had themselves a good Monday. Let's throw this over here. Get some of it. See there, it's almost kind of doing its own little blending brush sort of thing. Where did, you know what, we'll do a little bit more of our light on the shaman guy here. Don't squeeze the shaman. Ah, that's fantastic, Wicked Minis. Whoa, you know how much we like our basing here. You know how much we like our basing. I mean, that really, it was the basing that really sets the tone for this Lothlorien army that we did. I mean, yeah, it would have sort of a wintry look, but I'll show you these in a sec, and you'll really be able to get an idea for just how much of a wintry setting this creates. Here, let's do a cav and a mini. That's infantry there. So, okay, here, let's just do this. All right, so I mean, that kind of says wintry right there. We're just trying to, eliminate the bases. But then you see the snow, you see the icicles hanging off of stuff. I mean, that's just, and you kind of have the forest now is basically sort of dying, and it's covered with the snow and the icicles. That plays off of the colors visually, but then in terms of story, right, it really creates a nifty story. Well, I mean, it's the same thing here, right, with our Shmoom Kings, right, when we have that sort of a basing. I think we have some other ones here. Yeah, here we go. Let's grab this and our kitty. So again, it really sets a theme, doesn't it? And of course, well, we have our Moria bases too. So I mean, that certainly kind of is a Moria type environment. And then we've got, well, here you go, the fires of Mordor, right there, right? The plains of Golgoroth. Well, even this sets a pretty decent theme, right? All the little foxes and bunnies and flowers and everything. That sort of sets a nice little theme for Bretonians there. And of course, well, you can extend that even further with the Star Wars stuff here. Again, the basing creates an environment. Also helps you, do some extra manipulation on the miniatures. Hey there, Kelt. Oh, hey, Kelt, look at this. Yes, Slaine. Yeah, look, of all things, I think you would really enjoy this. Look at that. That's pretty fun, right? So, Kelt, great to see you again. I hope that you are doing extremely well. Valfira, just like our Mr. Microphone commercials, I think, wouldn't you say that's also on the verboten list as far as advertisements today? Yeah, I don't think you could have that campaign today. Something to, well, first of all, the Charmin will all be like under lock and key, so you couldn't squeeze it anyway without setting off an alarm, but I'm pretty sure otherwise, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that. Let me see. Sorry, sorry, Wicked Minis, if I missed something there. So Wicked Minis, uh, all of this was done in one sitting with the oils. Now the other thing that you can do, do I still have that bust here? I don't know if I still have it here. I don't see it, unfortunately, but we might have it here. Okay. Yeah, you can kind of see these. Okay, so see how some of these get kind of faded here, right? They all started out as very hard edge spots, but I was able to take the brush and, of course, just blend them, right? I was able to blend those in. I mean, the same thing here with all these crazy skin tones. There was no glazing there. That was just place the color on there and then pushing the color around and letting the oils blend together. Let's bring back that Fey Enchantress again. So this transition right here, that took all of less than 30 seconds because we just had our big old brushes, right? Our filbert brushes like so. And we just basically push those colors together. So all of that, there's no glazes there. That's just oil paint here, mix it together with the bigger brush. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Nice to see you again there, Etienne. Happy Monday to you. I hope that you're also doing very well. Wow, we're going to backtrack a little bit here. So see, we just chucked that there. We're going to grab ourselves. We'll use this as a blending brush here. So see, I'm just going to take that and we're just going to take away some at the edges here. We'll do that over here. And this right here. Again, just taking that paint, pushing that around. Ooh, let's sharpen up that brush a little bit before we do this. Micro blending brush again. Oh, let me do this here. Let me do that. Now we're going to take some of that there Perline black. We will take some of that blending brush. So we just chuck some of that green right in there. Take our blending brush to it. So now we just got some greenish gray on that skin tone, and it's the same idea what we did here. This is one of our recent videos. You can kind of see where we've got that sort of grayish green. It was infused exactly the same way, using the filbert brushes, working very fast. This was painted in 90 minutes. Yeah, maybe 95. That's all the time, because this was one of our tutorial videos, and we were doing color charts and such. So that left maybe about 90 minutes for the for painting the bust. So it puts the heroic in heroic scale, right, Valfira? Alright, here, let's get some of the ooh, some of our green here again. See, we're just going to take that blending brush right there. And we'll do that down here. And of course, Wicked Minis again. You want to share anything in the chat? Please, please go ahead and do that. Blending brush again. So see, we got that hard edge right there. Let's make sure there's no paint on that brush. Do a little bit of tap, tap, tap right there. And poof. Now the other thing too, Wicked Minis, that you could do is, well, especially if you're working on a lot of minis at once, you just let them dry. And what's fun is once the oils are dry, there's actually a whole bunch of different blending options that you have with the oils. You could even kind of start doing almost traditional glazes because, well, everything underneath is dry, right? So that's another little option that you have there. So Kilt, the key thing is you don't want to get the super cheap oils because that's just really not going to work so well. The nice thing is you don't need to buy a whole bunch of paints all at once. Just get a few. Just kind of start out and just sort of build from there. Kind of get them as you need them, little by little. Or if there's a sale, you say, all right, well, I'm going to get this color now because it's on sale. Where's our doggy here? There he is. Maybe you just get two colors. Maybe something like indigo and maybe some kind of really brilliant yellow pale, something like that. You just do a two-color thing, and now it looks like a wolf by moonlight. You're not fighting with a whole bunch of different colors, right? You're keeping it simple. Also, what else do we talk about? We're just talking about with that one video, right? Color charts like this, because it's not just what the color looks like, it's also how does that color handle. Nice to see you there, Doji. Appreciate you being here. So, Doji, I hope that you're doing well. Again, happy Tuesday. So, yeah, and again, a little programming note, because Little Wars is this weekend. We won't be able to do our usual weekend streams. However, the 22nd is supposed to be my streamiversary. So, that'll be quite the reintroduction to our stream schedule, right, Michael? So, Michael, hopefully you're able to get some more stuff done on your miniature painting. Throw some of this out here. Of course, getting into the Middle Earth SBG, best game ever. Well, Kelt, maybe go back and watch the stream where we were doing those Battlefleet Gothic ships with all kinds of weathering on them. Yeah, that was right before Adepticon. Right before Adepticon, you could check that stream out. Okay, we're just trying to get some of this greenish gray here and some of that skin tone there. Let me see. Do I have? Well, I think there's a little bit on this one. Yeah, there's a little bit on this. This was one of our vehicles workshop vids here that was all painted with oils. Whole thing, start to finish, freehand, all that stuff. That's well, Etienne, you know how much we love our retinues here. It's all about the Inquisition. More Inquisition, more better. So that should be very fun. Hopefully Arda Mike. Oh, that's right, because it's getting to be the end of the school year, all that kind of stuff. Let's work some of that more of that in here. Yes. So ETN, I think we were doing a whole bunch of those, and of course ETN, or sorry, Kelt. I've got that vehicles workshop series on the Sherman Russ. Remember that? And there was some heavy duty weathering on that, and of course, well, there's certainly more yet to come. Basically, just gotta sort of get through Little Wars, and then we can kind of move on to some of our other projects again. Now, Artemichael, how many stream anniversaries would that be? This is we're coming up on the fourth one here. Crazy to think that, right, Artemichael? That this will be the fourth one of those, and of course, geez, I gotta get this thing based up. So we will be painting another one of our Wapelius Spellbrush figures because, well, it's the whole painting of Dorian Gray, right? If you keep painting yourself, you never age or get older or anything like that. So that's what that's all about. Paint it's like it's the miniature of Dorian Gray. That's it. That's what we should call it. Gonna go work in some of our greenish gray here. You can see how that's kind of flattened itself out. It's almost working a bit like a blending brush there too, like a filbert brush. Just like this. So Doji, by the 12th year, well, actually Doji, I think are what was that? Coniferous? Remember Coniferous, the Christmas tree with all of the lights on him? Yeah, I guess that probably had about a dozen light sources, wouldn't you say? Get me some of this blue here. We gotta start doing a little something with the axe here. Let's get the other side happening. Oh, look, a blending brush. We'll just do that. Same over here. Yeah, Artemichael, I mean, well, we've done it here once or twice, right? We've certainly done that here. I think people would like to see that. It really couldn't hurt, Artemichael. I think it would be fun for you. Here, let's do that. Need a little bit of our light there. And let's swing back over here to our other axe. Oh yeah, Artemichael, you could do some Sauron there. Now here, this is the axe is darn near, perpendicular to where the light source is. So we'll get some reflected light down here, but it almost should have more of a greenish tint to it because, well, we are going to have a bunch of greenery on the bases there. All right, once all this is dry, we'll get all of our flock and foliage and all that stuff. Go through here. Let's get to now. Of course, this material is sort of like Bones material, so that means that it's the mold lines are really difficult, if not impossible, to get rid of. Yeah, Artemichael, that's it does after a while. You can only do so much of that, right? I mean, even if there wasn't that minor thing of sleep and everything else, well, we experience that here all the time, right? The voice only lasts so long before it just kind of says, "Oh, I'm out. That's enough for me." I don't know. We never did get this on his face there, so we'll get some here. And of course, we have tons and tons of tufts that we made in our tutorial videos, right? We have a bunch of those. And of course, well, we have certainly made use of those on our Bretonians. And these are one of the flower bushes that we made on some of our episodes there. This one, I think you can see also too, yeah, here. So those, again, are flower bushes that we made. And then you can see there's a flock that's more like a dirt texture right there. We got little tiny leaves, all kinds of really fun stuff like that. So everybody, please check out Arda Michael's link there. Well, of course, give Arda Michael a follow too while you're at it, because reasons. Yeah, ETN. I think I've got about 4 or 5 episodes now on those, and it just I think we yeah, see, we even added some of them to our bobble base here again. See, that's got more browns to it. There's another one of our taller tufts and everything. It really does add a lot. Now this is almost straight up radiant blue right there. Gonna get me a bit more of my lighter stuff up here, since, well, again, it is facing the light. Where's our blending brush here? Can get some of the paint out of that. And this is mighty rough around the edges there, especially because, oh, he's got a boar. That's it. It's like, that's a weird looking skelly right there. But that explains a little bit. Where's our shaman here? His little dagger here again. Well, maybe try to throw some blood effects on that or something. Throw some of this here too. Not too much on the base, because again, the base is going to, well, it's going to change a bit once we get all of that flock and foliage on there. Not sure what that stuff's supposed to be. Because I know, well, obviously there's things like, Wicker Man and stuff in the Slaine universe. And again, this is from Slaine, Warlord. They're the makers of it. So Doji, if you wanted to post some of your fabulous Takori miniatures, please do that. I think I probably forgot to ask you to do that already, so my apologies. Little book there. Not really sure what those are meant to be. Now remember, when we did the glazy stuff on this here beard, that was looking mighty glossy. Now it looks like it's basically dry. But as always, we know it is not actually dry. So thank you so much for doing that, Doji. Alright, and oh, the little gobbo here, we haven't messed with him. I'll also start fooling around with the leaves here a little bit too, I think. Let's just start doing a little something on him. blending brush here. A little bit of blending brush there. Let's get to the back here. I don't really. I mean, it's a helmet, but it's kind of like a weird leather helmet. It's not a metal one. Again, this is the little goblin buddy here for our main hero, our wart forged hero. Needless to say, little gobbo dude probably gets them in trouble quite a bit. We'll see you later there, Doji. Again, hopefully your Tuesday is a decent one. And of course, as always, thanks for being here. I'll shoot you a message if anything kind of changes dramatically with if I'm able to stream. Hey, there, Already Kent Games. Everybody, please give Already Kent Games a follow. So Already Kent Games, if there's anything that you wanted to share in the chat, same thing there. Please go ahead and do that. I hope that things go well. I know the trip out east to see the eclipse. Glad you guys were able to get there, get back. Hopefully as little hassle as possible. So everybody, please give Already Kent Games a follow. Now he's got himself a wee bit of crack over here. So we'll paint that in, I suppose. Well, that's fine, actually. And Already Kent Games, if you wanted to talk about your project there a little bit, please go ahead and do that. I know you've been really working hard on that. I want you to get a chance to be able to show that to folks. So I tried to see what I could of it. I was busy doing work here, so I could only see so much of it. Obviously, I had no special filters or anything like that, no special glasses or whatever. But considering, like, about a week before it happened, I didn't even know it was going to happen, so. Well, Already Kent Games, again, well, congratulations. I mean, I know that that's a ton of work. And I really do hope that it all works out really well. We're also gonna have to get some green there on the leaves. Already Kent Games. I mean, thank goodness you were there for other things too. I know that not all of those things were quite as fun as, say, an eclipse, but at least you finally were able to get out there to take care of some of those things. Alright, we're going to try and get a bit more of our light along that edge there. Again, I might just give him red pants or something crazy like that. And again, he's got a little bit of crack showing there. Here we're going to take our blending brush to that. So that does not take very long, does it? We've built that up very quickly. Perline ready. I'm going to try something like this. See if this will work. Maybe some red stripes there. I'll air it. Hopefully it can kind of, get caught back up again. I know when you're doing stuff like that, it really interrupts the workflow, and it takes a while to get that back up and running again. Got some of my violet here. Maybe strengthen up a couple of lines, and then also more of that violet again. He's this little guy here has quite the personality, so I'm trying to give him some sort of an expression here. And you could really give a figure quite the expression just by where you've got the eyes looking in relation to where the face is, and everything else. So yeah, you can give things a little extra something that way. Yeah, it's sort of a non-stop task, right, Erdican Games? Alright, where did my... here you are. Just gonna get, whoops, now a little dot of thinner on our fast matte white, just to break that down. So again, 1 hour 21 minutes ago, there was no paint on any of this. So that's 81 minutes, right? 81 minutes there. Let's see if I can do a bit of... Just gonna grab some of our fast matte white here and a little bit of our not brilliant, or radiant indigo. Hit this too. Well, ETN, it is, sometimes it is incremental. I know for me, I used to just really work very hard to get 5 or 10% increases in efficiency. Now, obviously, the oils really changed that around and cranked that into the many dozens of percent efficiency. But just eventually you'll figure out the best ways of taking less and less and less time. And it just sometimes it goes in, what would you say, fits and spurts. Sometimes you make some really big, rapid improvements, and then other times it almost seems like things are kind of in a holding pattern for a bit. So you have yourself a good night there, Erdican Games. And of course, as always, thanks for being here. So you take care of yourself. Chompers for our little boar right there. I'm going to see if I can't maybe... No, we won't play with that just yet. Tempted to, but we'll just leave that going here. We're just gonna chuck some more of that lighter color on there again, do the blending brush things. Yeah, ETN, I really did love the Inquisitor retinues. Absolutely no one else ever did that, but that's my Grey Knights army actually was all just Inquisitor groups and Stormtroopers. Let's throw this down here. Up there. And we'll get a couple, trying to get a few little edges on this. It's difficult, again, because, well, mold lines. Definitely mold lineage here. Hey there, Thranual. great to see ya. So Thranio, hopefully it's not one of those where the alarm woke you up insanely early. I don't think you're having a whole lot of snow there today. I'm gonna go way out on a limb and say I don't think you have snow. Not today. Get this eye here. Chompers. There. Maybe a little bit of our lighter stuff on this. Well, let me see what we got going on back here. Let's get some light up there. ATM something, it always is better, instead of, I know some people, maybe they get kind of overwhelmed and they end up just not doing anything because they say, well, I can't do it all here, I can't possibly get caught up, so they end up just not doing anything, which then builds, and then you get that much more anxious because that much more time is gone by and you just get that much more aware, well, there's that much stuff to do, so sometimes, yeah, even if it's just a little bit, it's better to do something than to do nothing. That's always the case. On the dagger here, we're going to try and get some lighter stuff up there. We'll have to probably come back with some of our indigo on that. And again, only so much we can do on that right now. Let me see if we can't take some of that violet here. Nah, we got too much of our light color. And let me try this now. So now we're going to try to work some of this violet in here. There, okay. Especially where we've got these veins or whatever. Yeah, they'll mark a difference between him and the other guy's skin tone. I'm telling you, I didn't see this in the Palantir. It's like, oh, it's some arthritis. I'll be good in a little bit. It's like, he's gonna need a lot of aspirin. Denethor, thank you so much. Appreciate that. How you doing? 18, I'm glad that you can do that kind of more as a fun / relaxation thing for sure. So Denethor, if you wanted to post anything that you've been working on in the chat, please go ahead, do that. So great to see you again as always. So Denethor, we're looking to finish up those figs, right? Like we were talking about on stream last night. Looking to get the rest of these Slaine figures done so that they can dry. We can get our stuffs on them. So yeah, this is the Warped Forge version of this right here. It's actually the same guy, believe it or not. So Ryan, in some ways, because I'll be in the Warlord booth, and I'll be painting now. Actually, Ryan, ironically enough, in my Facebook memories, I think it was, or either Google Photos. The last one that I did was at 2018, no, 2019, I think. Yeah, 2019. Those pictures showed up. So Ryan, if I can find those pictures, I'll send them to you. Yeah, I was in the Warlord booth. I was actually painting my barbershop navy. So I was painting my Regia Marina while I was in the Warlord booth. And of course, we had a good old time. I had, actually, you know what? Where is it? I think I was even painting this in the Warlord booth, this BT7. Yes, I think I was painting this in there too. So yeah, I gotta remember to bring that. And of course, that terrain, Ryan, that I was printing out, that was actually to display this and some of my other Winter Soviets. So yeah, that should be very fun. So no idea there, Etienne. That might as well be 10 years from now for me. That is not something I can think about. Not that I've ever been there or have any idea what the place even looks like. So yeah, unfortunately, I am not the person to ask. I got no info there. Alright, let's get some more of our lighter skin. Now that we've got some of that violet out here. Some of this. Ooh, okay, maybe a touch of the naphthol red in there. So there's not going to be a lot of space there, Ryan, for me. It won't be like Adepticon. Yeah, won't be quite that much space for me. However, let's just say it should be a little less crazy because you measure Little War's attendance in hundreds. So yes, I was kind of, well, let's see, I think they had maybe 3-4 tables together, something like that, and I was at like a corner table. I will try to have the setup that I had at Adepticon that I never got to use. I will try to have that at Little Wars. And we will try to do what we can to, again, to get some vehicles painted. I will try to assemble a few troops. That's probably something I'll be doing really heavy duty tomorrow, is assembling a whole bunch of figs and such. Do some of the, yeah, here, get that lighter too. And then we'll try to do some of the tattoos and woad and some of that other stuff on him as well. Let's do this here. Some of that over here. Oh, yeah, let's get some light up there. So Velfair, I'm really looking forward to the, well, garbanzo beans / chickpeas in the air fryer, because I like to kind of fool around with some spices and such, see which ones we like the best. I'll just start with some real basic things, a lot of the same ones that I use for other things that I throw in the air fryer, like the chopped up taters. That's what I should maybe get me, just as a bag of those, a bag of taters to chuck in there, right? Boil them, mash them, put them in a stew. I guess I did get some of the lightest skin tones in a couple of places. Let's do that up here. I'll have to see if I can find the, again, I think I have one, maybe two of the Slaine comics. I don't even know how we ended up with those. I think I only ended up with those because I found them on eBay, and we were looking to do basically like a Keltos role-playing game. And I think I was going to use sort of the Slaine universe as sort of a setting for that. Yeah, Valfira, I guess now my sister, I was talking with her about those today, and she said that she's done those before. Now she just uses her oven for that. And she said that one time she just didn't have them, they weren't in there quite long enough. So they weren't quite as crunchy as she wanted them to be. Thank you so much, Summerlin. Appreciate that. I'll eat. Oh my gosh, look at this here. Look at that, Summerlin. I think we might need to get a refreshment on that refreshment. I do believe so. So thanks, Summerlin. Appreciate that. Oh, that's the other thing. I gotta start getting some of that to put in my shall we say my medicine cabinet in here, which I still have in here. Yeah, so we're gonna need that. Actually, I might need to bring some, shall we say, some refreshments to Little Wars with me. So I think, yeah, I gotta get me some more of those. I think we'll just have to do that tomorrow, amongst many other things. Let me lighten this up too. Here. Oh yeah, let's get this up here. We got all kinds of crazy little things and the veins here again. You know what? I'm gonna get the paint out of this. I would like to use this as a blending brush here too. Hopefully, ETN, you can get that all situated and get everything worked out. Well, good night there, Ryan. Good night there, Went. And now we welcome in the Zhang. How you doing there, Zhang? Great to see ya. Everybody, well, I'm sure most of you are already following Zhang, but if you're not, please go ahead and do that. So, Zhang, how the heck are you doing? We have a whole passel of miniatures that we are working on here. Here, let's get these out. Let me see. 1 hour and 36 minutes ago, none of these had paint on them. There was Zippo in terms of paint on any of these guys right here. These are from the Slaine game. That is from Warlord. Hey there, Lurking Gundam. How you doing? And Dragon Reach, nice to see you again. Ms. Spock, nice to see you too. And Austin Struder. Let's see. Oh, Doof Doof de Boof, how you doing? Great to see you back too. And Ledby Man. Now, this is some of the ones we were working on last night. Again, sort of a Celtic theme. You can see some of the woad and the tattoos and such on these guys here. Here's a couple of more from last night. So we did 5 of these in about 4 hours and 15-ish minutes or so. So there's a little shaman right there. So some lighting effects on those. Now our last few streams, we've been doing some Bretonian stuff. These are 3D printed. You know what? Let's zoom out here. I just realized that we should zoom out a touch. There you go. Thanks, Doof Doof. Appreciate that. These are from Highland Miniatures. So that is the Green Knight. And we got some Pegasus Knights here. Here's another one of our Pegasus Knights right there. Those again are 3D printed. We have some more of those that we've been working on here, like these. One of this is from Highland Miniatures also.
Hello, little hobbits. Spark my gun.
And the Fey Enchantress as well. So we were working on those. Thank you so much. We appreciate all of our little hobbitses. Thank you so much, Geozilla. Appreciate that. Arwen's really, she's going for the glam here. Also, why is she riding a unicorn? Not so sure about that. Maybe I do need to lay off the pipe weed. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. And of course, oh, look at this. We have our Gandalf dice here. Well, it's not too bad. He would definitely be able to cast something on that spell. Not quite sure what that would be. Ooh, here's the other thing too. In our Tales of the Silly Marillion. So we know that Dark Queen Shmeladriel, she has the one true ring. Well, she kind of abandoned her elven ring, which means it's winter time in Lothlorien, and this is the theme for our new army. And we have been painting up a bunch of these on stream. We did 5 of the cav. I think we've done about 11 or 12 of the infantry so far, and each of them has the same freehand pattern, all done with the oil paints, of course. So yes, all done with the oils, and a very, very rather large elven army now is starting to emerge. We did those before and after Adepticon. See you later there, Valfira. Thank you so much for being here. And, well, Valfira, hopefully I got some really yummy pictures to share with you tomorrow. Some very yummy stuff, and I'm sure it'll be super, super simple, too. Thank you so much, Dragon Reach. Appreciate that. I hope that you are also doing well. So, Zhang, actually, were you working on Gundam last night, or I thought that was a 40k Dreadnought at one point. I seriously thought that was a 40k Dreadnought when I saw that. Thanks, Doof Doof. Well, I wanted to do something different. We had been talking forever about doing. People wanted to see white armor, and I thought, well, it'd be kind of fun if that was an elven army. And then I thought, well, why would the elves have white armor? And then I thought, what if it was kind of a wintry theme? And I thought, well, Lothlorien not necessarily a wintry place. And I thought, well, what if Galadriel kind of changed gears a little bit, so to speak? So we have kind of a big three here. We have been branching out into Richardson paints, but for the most part here, these are the big three. So we have Gamlin and Windsor Newton. I mean, as far as quality and price goes, I mean, they're pretty much identical. And it's good, solid stuff. Nothing wrong with it. Now, the Williamsburg, when it says handmade, that is legit. It is truly handmade. It will truly cost you more, but it does have its advantages. And other folks in the chat, they'll say, yeah, you kind of get what you pay for. Now, we have been adding to that another line of paint. Now, these are supposed to be, well, more affordable Williamsburg colors. I mean, you can even see there's a little bit of a similarity in the way the tubes of paint are. It's not quite the same. It is more affordable, though. So we've been adding more of these Richardson colors along the way. We've also been exploring more, with the fast matte slash alkyd type colors. Been doing a little bit more with those too. Just kind of learning a little bit along the way, trying out new things. Been using the oils on the miniatures now, getting on 8 years. So we've had a chance to really do some experimentation. Okay. Well, that's fantastic, Zhang. And of course, Zhang, if you want to share any of that in the chat, please go right ahead. That'd be fantastic. So Geozilla, we have a couple of things here. So we use a very, very high quality odorless thinner. The main brand is Speedball. Mona Lisa's kind of the sub brand. I always know Speedball as things like with ink and calligraphy and rapidograph pens, but well, that's where that's from. To clean the brushes, we use this, and oh look, it works with dried acrylic too. And it's not hazardous, no vapor. When it comes to said thinner, that's all we got. That's a water bottle cap. So you don't have to worry about, fragrances or anything like that. There's no big giant vat of anything. And we're just using liner brushes here and such from Princeton. These are synthetic brushes. Basically, we've got the filbert brushes and the liner type brushes and such. So Thranio, that's just a Richardson one. And again, it is quite a bit like Radiant Indigo, that's for sure. So, and of course, all of these will most likely be dry this time tomorrow. Why is that? Because we are not piling the paint on here. If you go back and check out the beginning of this, we're doing nothing but dry brush. It was all just a bunch of dry brush. Now the other thing is too, we've got the YouTube channel, so you can check out stuff there. We also have all of our sessions saved here. So it's the Twitch channel is kind of like a YouTube channel. Everybody please check out the Instagram link there that the Zhang posted. And of course, again, Zhang, thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate that. Now, that's Adepticon was very fun because, let's see, so I was able to finish off Kathy's Suzerain of Desire, And that not only did Creature Caster let it go into the contest, but they're now actually taking that and touring all their conventions with it. The other fun thing is all of the stuff that we painted for Mantic. That went well, and we won some stuff for entering the Kings of War stuff in their contest. And then our unit of Conquest Wardune Raptor Riders, that won first place in the Resident Beast. And you can see these guys also. If you check out some of those old sessions, you can watch all the chickens. You can watch all the chickens come home to roost. Where's another chicken over here? Here's another chicken. Look at that. So all of these done with the oil paints. Very helpful, right, for getting all these crazy color transitions. Here we go. So again, all the Twitch sessions are all
Hello, little
saved.
hobbits. Spark my ganja.
All saved as highlights, and that makes them permanent, and no ads or anything like that. Thank you so much, Dunkelsloth. I appreciate that. So, whoa, he looks like Bjorn, except Bjorn didn't have an axe. Are you sure you want to be walking around in the forest with a big axe like that? It's like, dude, I can't control this thing. It goes wherever it wants. This is so dangerous. I'll see you later. Thank you so much, Dunkelsloth. Appreciate that. I don't have any commands, Zhang. I'm just James Wapple on YouTube. So yes, we don't have any commands. Actually, Zhang, my 4-year stream anniversary is coming up on the 22nd, if you can believe that. Thank you so much, ETN. Appreciate that. And of course, again, let's see, what was one of the latest YouTube vids? I think actually was one of our, oh, it's Dark Queen Galadriel. That's it. Yes. She is up there. I think even one of the Raptor Riders might be too. I'm not sure, but I think so. It's possible. Let me see if we can do a little bit of something here on these trousers. We'll just grab this. Let's do some yellow there, maybe. Let's see if we can do something like this. Here, let's get that maybe a little lighter stuff in there. Make it more opaque. Something like this. And we'll try and do a oh yeah, like our, what was it? Our Clansmen of Lamadon, right? All of our Highlanders there. That all had the tartan type stuff on them. More this away. So yeah, I had to do a double and triple take on that, Zhang, because I thought that one piece looked very much like a dreadnought. And I said, but no, it should be a Gundam. So that explains quite a bit there. And we also well, we have a lot of stuff we've done weathering on. All right, here's you can see we got some weathering on this. This is another one of our tutorial series that we did right here. And of course, well, we have lots of weathering on some of these vehicles right here. Where's our? There you go. So we've got a T-34-85. We've got our icicles, we've got our muds, and all of our stuff in the tracks. And of course, we have a BT-7 there with some rust and such. Yep, Thranul. Actually, if you check out one of the it's an older video. It's one of the original painting pyramid vids. I actually did do a sewer theme basing there. Now that's where we're using green stuff and Sculpey. So yep, there is actually a video on the sewer bases. If you want to check that out. Well, thank you so much, Yang. As always, I appreciate that, and it's great to see you. Fantastic to see you. Of course, thank you so much for the raid. That is appreciated. And again, everybody, please give Zhang a follow if you could. If you're not, oh, I'm sure you're already doing that, but just double check, because sometimes Twitch does the unfollow thing when you least expect it. So yeah, just check out again, Thranio. It's one of the old painting pyramid videos, one of the original 12. I think I know I have some Skaven around, so I might try to do some sewer base. Of course, now we've got so many nifty 3D printed basing bits that we could probably add to that. Let's see, we got to do our little checkerboard first. All right, we do that first, then we'll get in and we'll try and add the secondary part of our pattern. And you can see that that's mixing with the blue that's there. That is good because that's going to give us a little bit of shading there. Not sad that that's actually blending a little bit with it. And let me move this way. It's tricky, right? Because you've got to stick with the undulation of the cloth. Otherwise, it's going to look mighty weird if you do not do that. All right, where's here's again now. Got a few examples of some freehand on the cloth, and of course the oils make it really easy to do that kind of stuff. And here too, again, the oils make the freehand so much easier because it's mixing itself all the time, and of course it's if you don't like it, you just wipe it away. It's gone. Now, the other thing that when it comes to freehand too, and we do recommend that you draw it out in advance so that when you do it on the miniature like that, you can see all the eraser marks here. I didn't have to quite do it so much on the figure itself because, well, I'd already drawn it first somewhere else. So that's just, again, another little, hopefully that's a little possibility there for folks, a little life hack there just to make things easier. Alright, and okay, I think we got this pretty well. Now let me see if I can get some of the gold elsewhere here. Blending brush. Just start pushing that around. A little bit of that over here on whatever the heck this is, this little belt or whatever. Not sure what that design is supposed to be back there, but we're also going to get a little of our yellow there too. Alright, now that we've done that, what is our next one going to be? Let's see what happens if we use this. It's our Naphthol Scarlet right there. There we go. It's basically two offset checkerboards. That's all it is. Now, I don't think, oh wow, speaking of tartans, remember the thing we did over Christmas? It was the Kathy reading her first Cthulhu book, right? And there was tons and tons of tartan on that. And that's what we did there, was the same thing. It was basically a pair of offset checkerboards. We're starting out with the lines going straight down, and then we'll do the crossbars like so. This is thin enough to flow, but not so thin that it becomes a pin line wash, because if that happens, well, then all bets are off. We don't want that to happen. You can see again, that's a interlocking offsetting patterns there. Now we did the same thing for the Clansmen of Amadon. It was for our Dol Amroth army. I think I did about 9 of those. Well, we will be doing some more because I was hoping to get to somewhere around 20 of those because, well, I don't think anybody's ever seen 9 of those in one dull Amaroth army to start with, but certainly not like 20 of them. Carry this all the way over here. And that way too. Okay, here. A little bit of the red there. I'm going to go with some red on that, and then we'll do blue on the other one. And then where we've got these things meeting together, let's see what happens when we do that lighter. Let's see if that works. Or should we go the other way here? That may be darker and maybe these lighter. So we'll try that. Usually where they intersect, they make them be just a slightly different value, either lighter or darker. In this case, I'm just going to go with the lighter. See what happens. And then we'll also try and do some of our, where's our tattooed things here? So we'll try and do some of this on him as well. So good night there, Miss Spock. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming in with the raid, of course. So yeah, I hope that's one of the reasons why I want. Oh, and this one too. It's hard to reach, but I have the miniature and the bust of this, and I wanted to do a tartan on that. And I also have another figure from Bellanok that's printed out that I also want to do a tartan with. So I think I can really do a serious tartan pattern with that Bellanok figure. And that'll be another tutorial on our Patreon page. Now it's probably going to be a multi-part series. We've been doing more of those. So the Patreon page, well, there's somewhere upwards of 1,700 hours of video tutorials on that. But basically, if you do the Army Painter Pledge level, you're getting every single video that I've ever made over the course of 11 years now. Let's just say that you'll never run out of stuff to binge watch. That's for certain. And it's not all oil paints. There's a lot of acrylic stuff. There's hundreds of basing episodes, terrain, painting busts, painting large-scale stuff, even two-dimensional stuff. There's a little something for everybody. Thanks, Thranul. Appreciate that. Thranul, I actually might have, in that video, I might have actually painted a couple of those too. So, check that one out, because they might have actually painted a couple of two, doing with the, like having some kind of, what would you say, like a greenish slime coming out of like a sewer pipe or something like that. Now, of course, that would be with the acrylics. With the oils, it would be even easier. Well, everything is just easier with the oils, of course. Now, let me see what we want to do with the red here. Do I go lighter or darker with that? I don't know. I think it would have to be lighter. Let me try something like this. Should probably get some of the yellow in there too. Mix this up here. Nope, no, more the red. Yep, that's the thing. Yeah, dark would not have worked, but the lighter red does work. So that's a very classic sort of a tartan type of a thing right there. Again, where those lines intersect, they either get lighter or they get darker. Poof right in there. So Geozilla, the reason why all of these have been painted, what, in the last less than 2 hours, is because instead of having to literally paint every last brushstroke, we can just plop the paint on there and push it around. Here's a good example right here. So the Fey Enchantress here. All of this stuff on the robe took less than 30 seconds because I had a couple of large brushes, basically like this. We had a magenta color here, we had sort of the turquoise down here, big old brush, blend them together. So instead of one layer after layer, 10,000 layers later, you're still layering. Whereas here was plop a color there, plop a color there, blend them together, boom, you're done. So that's a huge thing for the oil paints, to be able to just kind of blast through stuff. ETN, I just use the same old oil paints that I use for the miniatures. Yeah, nothing special. Again, you can check out all of the Vehicles Workshop ones that we've done. And all the weathering stuff is just done with the exact same paints. What's really hilarious, of course, Terra Rosa, our skin tone. I mean, literally, that's what all these guys, all their skin tone is based on Terra Rosa. And that's what we used again for our rust on here. And well, even our mighty Italian tiger of the desert right there. See, even there, that's a Terra Rosa on the exhaust there. And of course, the fact that you can erase things. So this is a good example. Where did he go? There's Gambling. So the freehand here, originally, the pattern on this vertical thing was the same as this. I tried it over here. It looked terrible. So we wiped it away. We did this. The horse, it was too close here. So I actually pushed him back 3 times. So I was working on the freehand. I wiped it out 3 times. And on the third time, then it finally worked out. Also, too, the oil paints are more vibrant. They are far more durable. And ultimately a heck of a lot cheaper because, well, you're not buying a whole bunch of them. And unlike those self-spilling jars of contrast paint, well, that's pretty much generational paint right there. That's going to last you quite a while. Indigo, maybe. Yeah, here, let me snag some indigo. Let's see if we can do something here with the eyes now. At least right now, get this established here. And actually, I think it's more dramatic if we have them looking off to the left. Here, let's also get some separation there. Maybe a little shadow under that nose. Start separating some of these fingers here. Now, of course, these are not our usual 3D prints, so therefore a mold line runneth through it. That's the other thing too with these, as opposed to, again, our usual 3D printed miniatures. Now here I'm actually going to also again use the, was it going to go back into some of these, maybe change up a few things here and there. Alter the pen a little bit there. Or maybe a brush stroke went a little too far or something. Okay, and let's get some of our, no, let's do a little bit more of the dark right here. No, maybe we'll change that. See, well, here we go. Here's the thing. We're going to change this. I actually want him looking the other way. So we're just going to change up the eyes here. Get a little bigger. And we're just going to, well, I'm looking the other way. It's sort of like the underpants gnomes, ETN, or the Denethor? Was it steal underpants, make big profits? There. Okay, that's yeah. It does make more sense. No, definitely, definitely. All right, that's okay. That's all good. And now we don't want that big old thing of just dark all by itself. We shall take something here, cut that in half. Like that. And there. So now we've got ourselves an eyebrow and eyelid without having to paint those in. So we could actually paint that a little bit thinner. Now here's another, where's our sample here? Once, there we go. So this is another one done with the oil paints, all in one stream. All of this stuff here, it was very, very simple to get that green into the skin tone right there. So really, really, really easy. This was very much a blast. Really enjoyed doing this. So really easy to get these colors from one place to another. And again, instead of having a whole bunch of glazes, it was pretty much just, well, here we'll get a little bit of our green on that brush, and we will just gently mix that into the rest of the skin tone that's there. So we're using oil paints there, Geozilla. All it is a piece of, wrong way. There we go. So it's just a piece of parchment paper, high quality parchment paper, and it's just, we clip it to a piece of cardboard, and that soaks up some of the extra oil. So yep, no wet palette, and definitely no water, because doing the oil paints here. So yes, no water involved. Now after the oils are dry, if you wanted to use acrylics or something like that on top of the oils, you could do that. You just gotta make sure that the oil paints are dry, because again, the oil and the water, that's not gonna mix. But you just, all you gotta do is just let the one dry, and then you can use the other. And we've certainly done that. We've done it on some of our tutorial videos. Ironically enough, Geozilla, it's the same parchment paper that I use when I'm doing my acrylic stuff, because I don't actually really use a wet palette when I'm doing acrylics. It's pretty much the exact same thing. If I were to be painting with the acrylic, you really wouldn't notice a difference. And actually, if you check out the Instagram and you look at some of the paintings that we've done, because typically my Thursday streams we're doing 2D art. This almost looks like a watercolor. So almost every single one starts out looking like a watercolor before they start to get, even here you can see some of the translucency there, and yeah, you can see a little bit of the translucency over there too. But eventually they start to become more and more opaque. Now let that be. Alright, let's see if we cannot try to do a little bit of our tattoo stuff right here. Thanks so much, Geozilla. And again, if you want to check that stuff out, some of it's on the YouTube channel, and a lot of the pictures, well, those are off on the Instagrams there. So I'm just Wapelius on Instagram, just like we are here. I'm gathering up some of my Prussian blue. I am going to throw a little bit of that lighter color in there, though. It just sort of takes that darker edge off of it. Now we are breaking this down. We do want a pin line wash here. Got the shoulder lined up, and let me get rid of some of this. Get rid of some of the excess there. And then we're just going to go around and around here. Like so. And as we do this, some of the skin tone is actually mixing in with our paint here. That's all fine. around like this. Trying to achieve our typical Celtic swirl pattern here. Very much kind of like the Latian type art style there that they found in Switzerland. I won't do it there. Won't do it there. That's we'll leave that be. We are going to do another gem over there. Geozilla. Let's see. What did we? Where is it? He is hidden over here. Actually, this was my latest tutorial that we just filmed here. Some very simple freehand there. I mean, that's as basic of a shape as you can get. But see how it follows the flow of the cloak here. We're trying to do the same thing with the tartan pattern on him. So again, same deal there on him. Now this is a little bit more elaborate freehand, and again, I had to follow right the flow and undulation here of all the cloaks and everything. This is the Green Knight. That's a 3D print from, well, I almost said Warlord, from Highland Miniatures. Geozilla, we've definitely painted. I actually done 2 army painting series on Krons there. Oh, and I just did a painting series on Nids. Yes. This was one of my crazier ones because we used interference colors here. So that shiny stuff you see, that is actually, that's the interference, basically metallic type colors there. All of these done with the oil paints. So yeah, just did a series on the Tyranids. How you doing there, surface tension? Must be 109. No, it's not. Wow, surface tension. Holy smokes. You had me fooled there, surface tension. Everybody, please check out the Instagram link there that Geozilla posted. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at that surface tension. That's a very sad sight indeed. So surface tension, speaking of sharing things, if you wanted to share your Insta link there, or no, not your Insta link, but your Mastodon link there, that'd be fantastic. So again, everybody check out the, is that your Tyranid that you just posted there? Geozilla. So again, everybody please check that out. We're going to put this right over there. So there. So Zoanthorpe. Actually, I just call him the big giant head. That was also part of the series there. Let me see if I can. Okay, that's what. There's a piece of something on there. See if we got rid of that now. And we're just gonna do some of our wood here. You know what? I'm just gonna go full on blue with that. The heck with it. Yep, I'm gonna go full on blue with that. Well, Thran, you will, you know, sometimes I'll say when I'm showing a freehand pattern or something, and I'll say, you know, look, I've done this freehand pattern hundreds of times over the years. Literally hundreds of, even this right here, the stuff that I'm doing with this woad and everything, I've lost track of how many hundreds of times I've done this same thing. So it just kind of comes down to, well, okay, after a while you do it enough and you really start to get that kind of muscle memory going. So everybody please check out those fabulous oil painted miniatures that Surface Tension did there. And Surface Tension, hopefully the dragon continues to work out very well. And well, I know your sneaky snakes, those were really fun. Let me get a little bit here, a little bit of a curl on the end of that. try to get a little something here. Grab some more of the paint there. And that is going to come down and around like this. And that actually, let's put a little hook on the end of that maybe. Yeah. And Geozilla, the thing we always suggest, right, when you're first doing the oil paints, like we were talking about earlier, right, maybe just keep things simple. Where's our, here he is. So one dark color, one light color. And of course with the oils, less is more, more is way too much. When you think you have almost no paint on the brush, take some more off. And you'll be glad that you did. You will be glad that you did, actually. Nice to see you again there, Bitron. So Bitron, if you wanted to share, some of your fabulous terrain that you've been working on, please go ahead and do that. Now, where's my, here he is. So let's see if we can tattoo up the warp forged version here. So great to see you again there, Bithron. Let me try and just use this one here. Geozilla, I almost never do that. The only time I'll do it is if there's maybe a little bit of a sheen or something like that, and the only thing I will use is this right here. I'll just brush on a teensy bit of the anti-shine, because the oils are very durable, very rugged, and rock solid. Well, Bithron, I'm glad that you've been able to play around with the mechs again. I know we were talking about that. Right, it's been a little while, and not too bad to get back to those guys again. Now let me see, is this, it may not be the brush that I'm thinking that it was. If it is, okay, well we'll just I'll abandon that one and we'll just go back to this. We'll go back to this one and see if we can make this one work. Starting out just like we did with the other one. And that just starts to wrap around like this. And now we got a little bit more of a surface to work with on this, so maybe we can do a bit more. So this is actually Prussian blue with a teensy bit of some of the radiant blue, just to make it not quite be so dark. So yeah, using some Prussian blue here. There we are. Because I know you were thinking about doing the Albion, right? Surface tension. Let me try and do a bit of an eye for him there. An eye for him there. Yeah, let me try some of this asphaltum here. Yeah, there we are. What's funny, actually, surface tension, when you look at the comics, he really does actually look like this. It's really crazy. Oh, and there's this little gobbo buddy right there. And we've got Don't Squeeze the Shaman. Got another one of those. We got ourselves another shaman. Gonna darken this up a little bit here, but also that's got some of the some brown in it too. Now let's get back to some tattoo stuff here. Okay, you can see what we're doing. You can see that we're going to try and get some little turns and some hooks on this. like so. So Thranduil, that's all going to depend on what's around it, because metal surfaces reflect their surroundings, right? So it would depend on, are they wearing a red cloak? Are they walking around on, say, a grassy surface? So pretty much anything is going to be affected by what is around it. Where's our, here we go. Just like this here, right? Instead of a cityscape that's reflected in there, if this was green grass, well, that would have to be green. If this was, say, red brick or something like that, we would have to put some red there. And obviously the sky is being reflected on the armor here, so it's be the same thing when it comes to, here, let me get there he is over there. So yeah, unless you're gonna say, okay, this is what the is around him, his cloak color, the base color, all that kind of stuff, that is going to have a big impact on whatever might be with the metals. Let's keep going with this here. That's something I really can't answer here, Thranduil. Again, does that sewer, is there any of that kind of green, icky water coming out of it? Is it just stone? Is it, again, do you have some kind of bricks involved with that or whatever? Now, no matter what, Thranduil, I can tell you right now, the one thing that will be essential if you're doing true metallic metals, this would be in it. Yeah, no doubt. Actually, Thranduil, probably this, asphaltum, uh, Van Dyke Brown, those would be the three things for sure. Iridescent Pearl White, Van Dyke Brown, and asphaltum. You would definitely have those three things. That is a no doubter right there. Because as we know, right, all of our all the TMM stuff we did, like that Tyranid that you saw. Well, how do we get all of the metallic type stuff there? Well, that was with the iridescent pearl white, of course. Yeah, now see the Indian yellow. You would want to combine that with something else, because boy, you get yourself a real pure gold, right, Thranduil? As soon as you do that combination there, that'll get you quite the intense gold. My goodness, it's really glorious when you do that. Actually, it looks really nifty. Let me get this. Trying to get that to turn around a little more. Again, so we got ourselves a little bit of tattooing going on there, don't we? Don't we? Surface tension. Let's see if we can have that carry down a little further here over this. There we go, and like so. Now, where is he here? So I am going to try and do the oops, too much. There we go. So see how that Prussian blue surface tension it's getting mixed with the skin tone there, and it's sort of creating, well, its own little bit of shading and such of it. Yeah, there we go. Surface tension. This is a kind of pattern that I've done a ton of times on Keltos figures and other commission figs from the past. Yeah, we've done that. Done these kind of patterns many times here, and they just kind of build on each other. Here, let's get this going all the way around like that. And the second one down here. Thranduil that, oh, and you know, Thranduil, you can sometimes take something like an Indian Red or a Terra Rosa and combine that with the iridescent pearl white, and that can actually make an interesting color for you there, Thranduil. So you might want to try that too. So Old Cheese Whiz, as always, it is iridescent pearl white. That becomes your white. So the one thing is, if you're doing your TMM, the one thing you can never do, you can't ever use white with it, because that will kill all of your metallic effects, and well, that would make us pretty sad. That would make us pretty sad, wouldn't it? So we don't want that. Don't want sad face. Take this here. Now the one thing you can do when you want to, say, use the iridescent pearl white and a lighter opaque color, if you want something that has kind of a silky look to it or whatever, that actually does that. I think I have a couple of miniatures, or maybe actually a Galadriel miniature might be just the thing to try that out on. Now again, now where we've got an open space here, we're going to try to engineer a bit of a pattern right here. Again, we want that little hook on there. Comes down here. Also a little hook there, and then we just start to build off of it. So the surface tension, this is typically what I'll do, is just I'll plop down a pattern somewhere and then just start to build off of it. So yeah, that oh, that would be good. That would be perfect. There's surface tension. Now again, if that doesn't work the way we want, let me just do that. Just wipe that away. And we'll try something else there. And see how that works. Yeah, I don't like it. We'll just get rid of it and we'll try something else. Like that. And then we'll maybe come back with some of our skin tone here. Whoops, I don't need that much of the light. No, a chunk of fuzz on the end of that brush. Now it's gone. So now we'll just make a bit of a change to this here. Like so. Maybe a little bit of our red or something in there. Nope, and just kind of verschmizzled the brush too much. So everybody please check out that link that Surface Tension just posted. Again, a little help there with the making that TMM with the bronze there. You know, I'm just going to get rid of that, and we'll try this again. Keep going here to again reverse what we did over here. Alright, let's try this here. Again, just taking our Prussian blue mix. That's it. So that's the other thing I needed to do, was to make that a little bit more solid. Now the other thing that starts to happen is that there might be certain parts where you just can't do the design because there's so much going on with the shapes and everything that it's just not going to read. So sometimes you just say, okay, well, we can't, we'd like to do some more stuff there, but cannot do that. Because it just, you won't be able to see what you want to see. There's a little hook down there. More of that here. Bring this down here, get more of our pattern there. So we have lots of designs on him now. We're going to do some more here as well. And we'll try some of that right here. So again, we're going to have a little bit of a hook on these where we can. This is going to come up and around. Like so. Another hook right there. You're coming down like this. This stops here. And maybe, let me try this. I change this around. Build off of this again. Like that. Down and around. Looks like we've got ourselves some bots. We haven't had bots in a long time. It's weird all of a sudden to run into two of them all at once there. Alright, we'll get this. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, I might just, here, let me see if I can't possibly, well, let's just use this. We'll just at least use this just to try and cut through some of that part of the tattoo there. Even there, okay, yeah, now that makes a little more sense. Carry this down a little further, and then we'll put our little hook in there, and that fits down into this area too. I don't want to do this absolutely everywhere, but in enough spots. Let me see if I can have that just come down here a little. Another little hook right there. Comes up into there, then another bit here. Let's throw this down here too. another piece come over the top. Yeah, let's say, yeah, let's fill that out a little. I will, let me see if I can get a little, oh yeah, okay, that's got some translucency to it. Now that's some of our perline red there. All right, let me come back at this the other way now. I want to try that one more time here with a little bit more of our pinkishness there. We'll see you there later. There's surface tension. Of course, thanks. Thanks as always for being here. Appreciate that. So thank you so much, Armored Wolf, for doing that. Armored Wolf, bestest moderator on the Twitches there. As we welcome in AD Creations right at that point. Everybody please say hello to AD Creations. So AD, how you doing? Thanks so much for the raid. And of course, if there's anything you want to share in the chat, I know you got some things you can share. Please go ahead and do that. You know what? We could actually, we could even throw a little bit of the, a little bit of like a gloss mediums thing there on that eye as well. So nice to see you there, AD. And again, everybody please give AD Creations a follow. So AD, we're working on some more of the rest of the Slaine figures here. So there's our big boy there, and here's his, we've done a little bit of the tattoo stuff on his warp-forged self there. We also have his little goblin buddy there. And we've got Don't Squeeze the Shaman over there too. Hey there, Night Whisperer. Everybody please give Night Whisperer a follow. Night Whisperer, if you want to share some of the stuff you've been doing, well, I mean, it doesn't have to be only with the oils, but you want to share that, that'd be great. So yeah, Cheese Whiz, I have tons of TMM stuff on the channel, or on the Patreon page. There's an entire army painting series with that. There's a bust even that's all TMM, so there's plenty of that on the Patreon page. And the entire army painting series, there's Dark Sword videos. And, well, there will certainly be more to come with those as well. So, AD, great to see you again. Again, you wanna share anything in the chat? And same thing, Night Whisper, please go ahead and do that. We've been doing a little bit of tartan on him as well. Tartans and tattoos and all that stuff. Get a little more light on him there. On his mouth, the lips, the chin. Need to do something with these gemstones as well, I think. Need to throw a little touch of our liner skin tone right there. A little touch more light there. So see you later there, Etienne. I'm glad that you're able to get a lot of stuff done. Now, AAD, those references, the AI generated ones, there's some really nifty stuff there. But yeah, I think you got yourself some spent. That was again the Queen of Malefica, right? Yeah, I think you got yourself some really great references there. So yeah, Cheese Whiz, well, I don't remember offhand what they, and of course, again, there's, it was one of the Song of Ice and Fire series where we did TMM. Actually, a couple maybe Song of Ice and Fire series where we did TMM. So yeah, AD, I think that's going to make for some really fun possibilities there. All right, we'll do that like this, like so. And there. Never really did get the lighter stuff on the tree here, so let's start putting some of that on there. These are 3D printed basing bits from Megadepic Basing, as always. Some warmer green, not just lighter green, but some warmer green here too. Maybe a little too much thinner on that, so we're going to back away from that. Not so much thinner. Put a little more of that just actual green here on the plants. So AAD, is it the reflection part of it? Is it trying to get these sort of maybe contrast that you're looking for? What the heck? I'm just gonna steal some of that. We're gonna chuck that in here. And again, throw some lighter stuff here on these leaves. Yeah, like that. That should be good enough. So again, these are Slaine figures from Warlord Games. This is just a starter set, like the original starter set. There's a bunch more that has come out since. Probably Fomorians. There's much more from, well, I know in Keltos they would call them the Gales. That was the, let's see, you had Fomorians, you had the Sheed, the Elves there. What else did you have? There was the the Sirens. That's right, you had those. And yeah, of course, AD, right? Things must be messy before they can be neat. So there's always that too. Get some of our, yeah, we'll throw a little bit of that lighter green up, even up there on our tree a little bit. And just gotta keep in mind we'll have all of that flocking foliage on here as well. Like so. Now, it doesn't have to be anything super new or anything like that. If you want to share that in the chat, because who knows, it could be brand new to a bunch of folks in the chat that haven't seen it yet. I need to do the same on a bunch of this stuff here. Again, 2 hours and 44 minutes ago, none of this had any paint on it. These were all completely paint-free, as we say. Yes, totally paint-free miniatures there. But it happens quick. As we say, don't blink. Do not blink. Get some of my, I'll get some of the light down in here still, even though maybe he's even casting a bit of a shadow on there. Then I might just hit these with some of my dry brushy stuff. In fact, I might just say the heck with that and just do some dry brushy things here. Let's see if that'll work. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. The heck with it. Yeah, let's just do that. I'm actually using one of my blending brushes here. Just gonna attack this real quick like here. No interest in fooling around too long with all this. Bring in something a little lighter now. Yeah, that's the way to go about it. Let the oils do the oil thing. I'll use this then as a blending brush. Like that. Yeah, just gotta make this happen faster. Not interested in screwing around. And of course, so what do we always say? Perfection is the enemy of completion. In fact, they are mortal enemies. Perfection and completion have a mutual war of annihilation against each other. So in the pursuit of perfection, you will never complete anything. So it's a bit like was it Nuke War? Yeah, where pretty much just everybody gets blown up. Yeah, the games usually don't take very long. Huge surprise. So yeah, perfection is pretty much like a game of Nuke War. Nobody wins. Might as well just settle and say, you know what, that right there, that's just good enough. What do we got going on over here? We do have some of that yellow. Where's a little bit of my Terra Rosa? That's better. Everybody, please check out the Insta link that AD just shared. And again, please, everybody give AD Creation they follow. So AD, geez, I don't think I'll be able to stream anymore until after Little Wars. However, who knows, maybe Paul's not coming this way on Thursday like I think he will be, so we'll find out tomorrow. I'll shoot you a message if I find out one way or the other. And just trying to lighten the tops of these cattails here just a smidge. Maybe even get some of that on his shirt there. Some of that over here. I know there's another one here. Isn't that right, Night Whisper? Yeah, we haven't played that in a long time. It was a really old game, I think from the 70s or something like that, and it was just a bunch of cards. And yeah, it was pretty. It was one of those things where, okay, we haven't played any games in a while, so we'll just do this one thing here to get warmed up, so to speak, because it's pretty mindless. So yeah, we will see exactly how that's going to work. No idea yet. Absolutely no clue. May not even know till Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised. In any case, well, actually, I have a couple of more of those cases that I brought all this stuff to Adepticon in, and I will gotta assemble those tomorrow. So that's yet another thing we will be doing on Tuesday and Wednesday, in addition to filming videos. It's time to start, well, first pulling out miniatures, because they're not Adepticon miniatures, they're Little Wars miniatures. We get a little more. I think there's no cattails there. We're good to go on those cattails. All right. Let me try our lightest green on this too. More there. A little more along the edges of these leaves, especially up towards the top here, because that's what's going to capture the light. Again, up towards the tops there, not so much towards the bottom. Let me see if I can. Here, let me back off a little bit here. I know it's a little tough to see with this big old warped arm in the way. Okay, that'll take care of it there. I was wanting to do, and let me just take some of this stuff here. We'll break it down some more. I was actually going to do some stripy pants on him, but that's actually maybe a little too light. There we go. Had to just grab a little bit of the asphaltum. We take that down. Then we got to get some highlights on his little tankard there. Where's there? There it is. I'm not quite sure why his pants are falling down here, but whatever. And I don't know what's going on there. He is a goblin after all. Hey there, Incanes. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I hope that everything was a decent start to the week for you. Yesterday on Monday there. We're finishing off the rest of this original 9 figures from the Slaine starter set. Oh, geez, it's right. I gotta let John know that I'm bringing these, and who knows? Maybe he'll bring along some more Slaine stuff for you there. So Anganes, I typically print them out at just I guess you would say 100%, right? Whatever size they come as the STLs, that's the size that I print out. Now, I have experimented with doing some larger ones for 72 mil figs. And I will be doing, I keep wanting to say Keltos figs, but I have a bunch of Raging Heroes figures that are of a Celtic nature. I'll put it that way. And I printed out what I think are about 72 mil versions of some of the Make It Epic basing bits. We'll find out when I do that video just how successful I was doing that. Oh, and also in Ganes, I did that with the Wapelius Spellbrush figure too. I think I printed out some books and stuff like that at a larger scale. Now, unlike the Goon Master or Goon Monster Games fig, those are huge. I mean, some of those actually just work at 72 mil scale. So if you want to use those at, say, typical 32 mil, you've actually got to reduce those in size a bit. I'm going to try and come back here. Where's some more of that violet? I'll break this down here. Thank you so much, Summerlin. Uh-oh, look at this. Oh, my goodness. There's, the last drop there, Summerlin. So in Gunnys, all of these are at just 100%. I'm trying to think. I've actually reduced them in size too. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, the palm trees. Yes, the palm trees, because I wanted to print those for Armada. So I printed them at something like oh my goodness, I don't know, maybe 30 40% scale or something like that. So they were pretty tiny. They were not terribly big. Let me see, because now these, you can see how they look next to Song of Ice and Fire miniatures, which we know are bigger. Now, of course, here we printed out the Galadriel figure at about 54 mil. I need to print out. I'm gonna try that again, that diorama there, but I need to print out the some of the basing bits, because there I was still using actually trees and branches, like actual trees and branches. Those don't exist in my neighborhood anymore, so I mean there's trees, but not all trees are created equal as far as branches that work well for miniatures. So sadly, all the trees that work well for miniatures, those are all gone, which meant we've had to do a little bit of a substitution there. Here, back to my violet there. Maybe some of that on the tree here. We'll have to get some of our light on his loincloth. First, though, gonna do the darker stuff. This and the Van Dyke brown, a little bit of a nope, not that light. Boy, we were pretty efficient at getting some dark in there, weren't we? Wee bit of blending brush. I'll just chuck some of that onto here too. So yeah, these are yeah, just 100% on the on these basing bits here. And boy, I just got a new shipment of hot glue sticks. It's like 100 sticks or something like that. I remember the first batch. I thought I am never gonna go through 100 glue sticks. Well, I went through 100 glue sticks. So I got me some more, and I think we're gonna go through those even faster because there's that much more terrain that I'm doing. So I think we're gonna be rolling through that hot glue pretty fast. You know what? Yeah, know what? I'm gonna go one more shot here with the crazy white. Didn't really want to do that, but I just need a little extra zip away from all of the skin tones and the tattoo stuff here. It is interesting though. They got pretty darn close to the way to the way this is drawn in the actual comics. I have to say that it's pretty close. Some of that white mixing it with the green one more time here. For some of the lightest lights on the ends of the leaves. So about 3 hours or so ago, there was no paint on any of these guys. No tattoos, no skin tones, no tartan patterns. There was nothing. Just dark brown primer. That's it. We did the dry brush stuff. We did some glazy stuff over the top of that. And then we started to work in more midtones, more lights, more details. A little bit different than the typical sort of pre-glaze approach. Part of it has to do with the time available. Part of it has to do with so many fragile things. These figures here, they're not really the most rugged figures ever. So in order to kind of keep the figures a little bit safer too, decided, you know what, we will I'll just go with the darker brown primer. That way all I have to do is Dry brush over the top instead of taking the makeup sponge to it and try and pull paint away, which could end up with pieces of the miniature pulled away. That's not super helpful. That's another way to have miniatures not get finished. Ah, fine. He's got some antlers on him here, so I'm just trying to chuck a little something on these. Yeah, the miniatures, for whatever reason, are that sort of soft bones resin. I suppose you could say a little bit like Bones Black. Can't quite tell if that's straw or not. Whoops, that's my green there. Can we see? I'm looking down into here to see if I could maybe do some kind of glowy stuff on his eyes too, like the other druid there. Either a druid or shaman. I mean, it could go either way. Let me get a little bit of that here. Okay. Take some of this. And I might go really light here. I don't know why. But I think maybe that would give us a little extra interest here. We might try to get some light up there too. Of course, that's another area where there's some old lineage. Alright, yeah, some of that here. More of let's dry brush that a little bit to get some light in here too. See what's happening down there. Don't want to do too much with that because that is really going to get loaded up with our flocking foliage. Okay, where's you again here? We used, oh god, was it the arid? It wasn't the wasteland. Was it moorlands base ready? Oh, by the way, I have a ton of the, it's from Geek Gaming Scenics. Again, that new shipment came in last week, on Wednesday or so. So I'm looking forward to playing around with some of that stuff. Let's see if I can lighten up the edges on this here. Hey there, leaf painting. Nice to see ya. So leaf painting, if you want to share anything that you've been working on in the chat, please go ahead. Great to see you. I hope that your Monday was a good one, not too crazy. Oh, AD, I don't know if you want to let folks know when you might be streaming again. Let's chuck a little bit more light on the top of that right there. Yeah. I wonder if I should. Well, first, let's do this. I'm gonna go darker with the red and the blue here. Oh, that's fantastic. A wee bit of oil work there for some Sigmar. Alright, just going to get the darker stuff on here. Maybe even a little darker. There we go. Alright, that's making a little more sense. That was making zippo sense there for a sec. I will do the same. Prussian blue. Come on. There we go. Prussian blue. That's going to go here. So yeah, leave again if you wanna share anything that you're doing there in the chat. Please go ahead. We've got ourselves. That's the Napthol Scarlet. Yeah, Napthol Scarlet. And now that will get blended with our darker red, and now let's do that up here. So that's a little bit of our Hansa yellow. Whoops. Okay, we needed something to make that a little more opaque as in addition to light, but that was quite a bit there. And there we go. All right, so we got our little gemstone thing going on. So, well, the Williamsburg paint's mighty sweet, aren't they, leaf painting? They are really they've got some intense colorations to them, which is really fabulous. Let me take some of this I see here. I'm trying to get that separation again for his eye and eyelid and such. Where's our little gobbo dude here? There's some of that. Maybe a little bit of the orangey stuff here on his little hat. It's not really a helmet. It's kind of like a weird little leather hat that he's got. Almost looks a bit like a pilot's hat. Again, I wish I knew what his name was. It's been so long since I've seen this. I don't quite remember. I will see if I can dig out the one or two comic books we have, which I believe again someone sent to us because they knew we wanted to do like a Keltos World RPG thing, and they sent us the Slaine stuff because they thought that could be helpful for that. That's fantastic leaf painting. Yeah, it's kind of like the video that Armored Wolf sent me. Well, I mean, Payne's gray, not really a color. It was a guy named Payne he mixed 3 different colors together and made his own Payne's gray. There, I'm gonna go with this lighter green here to get the. That's a little more than we wanted there, so we will go a little bit backwards there. That's good. I don't think I got this when we hit some of our other ones. Yeah, we'll do it now. More of that light green again. So again, 3 hours ago, we had nothing on any of these figures. I'm not saying that the oils let you do things faster, I'm just saying. Now that should be very cool, their leaf painting. Actually, what's the new, Rose Matter, that's it, yes, that just, see in your little list of colors there, that, from Richardson. Yes, remember we had the purple matter, and of course brown matter, color, I haven't used that in a while, got to get that back out on the palette again, I always like that. It's another one of those Series 1 colors. Gotta get the brown matter back out there. well, let's just say that we'll be doing some cavalry. We'll also be doing some. I have a whole bunch of after the weekend now, a bunch of the actual GW Isengard, what are the Urukai with the pikes and such, and also a bunch of the berserkers, and that would be interesting. Kind of doing that reddish skin tone. I know there's a couple of people asking for reddish skin tone vids or whatever. So they'll be getting their wish on that. Let's head on over to the town of Wampleville. This goes back to probably about 2012, 2013, when we were doing a lot of Wild West Exodus stuff. So a little different theme on these figs right here. Just a smidge different. And also the terrain was not 3D printed; it was the MDF style terrain. So that was pretty wild doing that. And again, we could fill it easily 8x8 table. I mean, look at, we got trains, we got the cantina, the jail, the church, the train station. We have La Flamant Rose, that's the House of Horizontal Refreshment right there. All of those buildings they got carpets and everything has wallpaper and such. Lots of wallpaper on there. Tons of articles on how we made the water tower, the train, all the texture on the roof, right? All of there was cereal boxes. We made some of those RJ27 charging platforms there. We got articles on the trees, articles on those headstones and tombstones that we made, little stuff there. And of course, it would have been really nice to have the oils. Oh boy, it would have been really nice to have the oils back in the day when we were doing this stuff. Wow, that would have made a big difference. Certainly would have been done a lot faster, especially these guys. Check this out. Can you imagine? I mean, a lot of this, what you're seeing on the screen, is what we've been doing here the last two streams. The exact same stuff, only would have taken a fraction of the time. And by fraction, I mean like third of the time. So the water tower is actually, oh, what is that? Like a taster's choice coffee can or something like that. Yeah, for whatever reason, Rich had one of those again, like an old coffee can, and he brought that over, and we with some popsicle sticks and a little bit of balsa wood. I mean, obviously, we did our shaded base coat and other such thing at the. I mean, it was record time then, but certainly not like this here. Again, we're all here. Let's line these up here. Not quite like this. Yeah, where 3 hours, 13 minutes, and 21 seconds ago, none of these had paint on them whatsoever. So it's just such a dramatic difference. So yeah, the cereal box. Well, we found other uses for the cereal boxes. Where's my? There we go. We still can find uses for cereal boxes in balsa wood. Did we use any cereal boxes? No, that's right, because we had to make the. Yeah, we needed the thatched roofs there. That's right. That's where we're using the water effect stuff to make the roofs on those. Now let me break down this fast mat weight a little bit more here. That's kind of been sitting there for a while getting crispy, so let's just break that down. I still haven't found my box of liner brushes. It's insane. I had a whole box of. Oh, wait a minute. I wonder if they ended up in here somewhere. That would be really funny if they did, but yeah, don't know where all those liner brushes went off to. Breaking this down. Gonna throw a little bit of white out here. A little bit over there. Hey there, M-Toys. That's 39 months worth. That uh-oh. Oh boy, look at that M-Toys. That's looking a wee bit light. There's barely a quarter of a drop of her medicine left there. So M-Toys, how you doing? M-Toys, if you want to share anything that you've been doing in the chat, and if you've been doing any streams or something like that, if you got a little stream schedule going on and you want to let folks know, please go ahead and do that. Bithron, it is possible. It's kind of funny, Bithron. I think great minds think alike because just I was kind of thinking, I'm wondering, because I did bring him to Adepticon, Bithron. I did bring him there, so they could have ended up in that box. So I will. Well, actually, it's good, Bithron, because I have to be going through that stuff anyway, because it's time to start packing for Little Wars. So hopefully, in the action of packing for that, we might find those. So MTO is. Hopefully, you've been able to maybe do a little bit of stuff on your Shmoom Kings there. Keep that ball rolling. Now, MTOs, do you still have events going on at the Game Castle out there? I wasn't sure if that had changed or not. Alright, there we go. We have a little bit more oomph now on those. Do we have any of that? Don't have any of that here. Here's some more here. Gyrus, nice to see ya. Hola. Everybody please give Gyrus Maximus a follow. So Gyrus, thank you so much. Gracias, of course. So MToys is working on some Kroot. Well, MToys, if you want to share that, same thing there, Gyrus, if you wanted to, or Jerish, if you wanted to share anything, Instagram, Discord, whatever, in the chat, please go ahead. So, the stream, before we raided Jewel, we were painting some more of these. Again, these are from Slaine. So, I think we streamed, about 4 hours and 15 minutes. We did these 3 guys and these 2 over here. There we go. So that was our stream last night. Those 5 figures. Now here's a couple of streams before that. So the Green Knight and a Pegasus Knight here. So these are 3D printed. We had a lot of fun with those, of course. And let's see, not long before that we did ourselves, we've been working on some 3D printed Tomb King chariots. This one happens to be from Titan Forge. We've done a bunch from Highland Miniatures. Where's one of them? There we are. So yeah, we've done a whole bunch of those from Highland Miniatures. Oh, thanks, Jarvis. Appreciate that. Tonight we've been doing obviously you can see a lot of tattoo stuff, lots of skin tone and that sort of thing. Everybody please check out the Instagram there from Gyrus. That's okay. MTO is as long as you're painting, right? That's all that matters. As long as you're painting, that's the key thing. Thanks, AD. I'm telling you, these crazy little flashlights, right? They really do help you figure out where that's supposed to go. Well, that's good there, M-Toys. I have a few of those that are prepped. They're actually all ready to paint. They're even primed and such. So I think after Little Wars, we'll get to those. I'll try and get me a little bit of the brown in this back here. So again, everybody please check out the Instagram link that Gyrus posted. And of course, give Gyrus a follow. Then AD, well, of course, I mean, if you need some more, I could send you some, but they're pretty darn easy to get right off of Amazon. They are not expensive. Now, the ones that Blades got were definitely snazzier than mine because you can actually open them up and change the batteries. These, you pretty much can't do that. Yeah, that won't work on these. Get me a little more reflected light down in there. That's better. Blending brush, take some of that away. Push a little bit of this here. There we go. Now, where's our little gobble friend again? Our wee little gobble friend here. And this will get one of the two main characters kind of the story here. That would be these two guys right here. Right there, okay. Now, MToys, did you do, what'd you do for your basing on your Kroot there? Because obviously, well, I'm thinking like the Monstera plants. I mean, do we have, oh, no, that wouldn't, no, not that, not that. Oh, and that's that one kind of jungle type basing. What about this one here? So this was another one. Again, so these are the Monstera. No, those aren't these are the Monstera plants over here. But some of these that's actually from Goon Monster Games over there. So again, kind of a sort of a jungle type atmosphere there. Let me get this put back into here somehow. There we go. It was still very, very, very strange how there was no Shatterpoint painting contest at Adepticon, but there was Marvel Crisis Protocol. That was just very, very strange. Okay, let's do some of this here. A little more light on that plant there. Let's me get some of the stuff here on the top of the, oops, that's too much there. Well, there went our blending brush. Let me see if I can locate that here. There it is. There. So everybody check out the Discord link there that Night Whisper shared, and then please give Night Whisper a follow. Oh, and of course, Night Whisper, if you want to let folks know maybe when you might be streaming again, please go ahead and do that. Again, for me, it could be April 22nd, which would be our streamiversary. Again, we'll see how things go, but I just have a feeling that's pretty much how it's going to be. That'll be the next time I'm able to stream. Because I do need to save my voice for working in the Dira's room there. Get a little more of the light on my greens there. Bit more of the light there too, sure. Alright, get back to our Koalan here. Yep, AD, I still have that. AD, I actually wanted, well, I think I may just have to then get the other even larger, well, the fancier one so that I have both of them. So that basically one could just stay in the vendor hall and then the other one would go with me. So, because obviously one would be plugged in, the other one would be charging. So I think we might have to go with a two of those at next Adepticon. Do some more of that here, because I have a feeling that the doing the live painting at the creature caster area might just have to happen next year. Oh, that's good. Night Whisper. I know. Yeah, Armored Wolf. Remember your the purple on the lips, right? I've been trying to tell people to make sure that the lips have some purple on them, as per what you were showing me. Here. So AD, I'll send you a link to that second one that I discovered. And the only reason I even discovered that is that I was trying to the guys from Mini Wargaming. I was trying to send them a link to the one that I had. That's when I saw the other one, and I went, "Oh wow!" It's actually like a handheld mic. And then there's also the headset, just like the one that I have too. Yeah, Armored Wolf. That's I was trying to show people that purple like that. And how you want to get some of that in there. Alright, I'm just take a little bit of the again, that's the Perline Black. That's the dark green. That's not black. It's a very dark green. So Night Whisper, I'm glad that you've been having fun with the oils. That seems like you're able to work some stuff out there. So Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern. But it could also be Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, I don't know. Well, that's the other thing too. I don't know when on Monday that would be for me, but I'm getting the feeling that the next stream would be next Monday for me. Because part of it is I still have to be able to film some videos between now and Little Wars. Everybody, please check out that Insta link there that Mto has just shared. That's the croot that he's been working on. So please check that out. We need a little more of the lighter skin tone on his face here. That's not the lightest light we can go. Not sure just how much lighter I even really want to go on that. And Mto is glad that you're able to work on some stuff there. I don't know. Let me see if I can put a little more light on this boar's head here, or it's a boar's skull, I guess. We'll do a little more of that here. Maybe, okay, fine. I'll catch a little light on this here. Now, because I don't have to put the icicles, I keep thinking I've been doing so many of these trees, right, with the icicles hanging off of them, that I keep thinking, oh, I can't make that too late because I want to do the snow and the ice and everything else. Gotta change my mindset a little bit there. Alright, let me do some lighter stuff on this, maybe? Yeah, I think we got a decent amount of darks in there. Now we're going to put some of this in there. Yeah, that's just got to catch a couple edges. Apparently that is some sort of a metal disc or thing or whatever. Now with that cloth down there, I'm just thinking maybe I don't really want to lighten that too much. Let me hit these first, and then we'll see how we feel about that. Either that, or we come back with some darks again too. Let's see what I can do on the fingers there again. Those got chewed up a little bit by mold lines, or a lot, actually. Let's see what's happening with this little book over here. More of the antlers. And we'll do this here. Yeah, I'm gonna get some lights on those. Do this side over here. Alright, let me come back. Ooh, maybe. Fine, we'll do the Van Dyke brown here. Chuck some darks back in there. Mostly just to try and get some of these edges back. So a Landrast sighting at Adepticon 2. That would be quite historic there, MTEL is. So, yeah, that's a Landrast sighting all the way out here again. So J-Rex, that's because we're using oil paints. We are using oil paints. That's what we use here on the channel. Here's our kind of our big three brands: Gamlin, Windsor, Newton, Williamsburg. Oh, look, there it is, Van Dyke Brown. There's the Asphaltum. Oh, look, Terra Rosa. All colors that are out on the palette there. Well, and of course, indigo and Prussian blue and phthalo green. And of course, well, sometimes we have happy stone cities like Minas Tirith, and sometimes we have happy moons that we paint also with the oil paints. And so sometimes happy horses. Sometimes we paint, well, happy, there we go. Every once in a while we paint a happy Balrog right there. Because, you know, that's where the Balrog lives. Looks like M. Telly's pledges allegiance to Gondor. But then, of course, M. Telly's hedging his bets also pledges some fealty to Mordor. So that's always a good plan there, M. Telly's. You want to hedge your bets. You never quite know how these things are going to turn out. So that's just the same illustration board, actually. It's a hot press illustration board that we do our little color charts on, so it's just from Crescent. You can check out all of those, all of the old Twitch episodes. They're all saved as highlights, kind of like a YouTube channel, so you want to watch any of those. Again, usually every Thursday is when we do the 2D art stuff. And what's hilarious is when they first start out, for at least about the first 50% of it, it looks like we're painting a watercolor. Just using the oil paints. And again, all of these are painted with the oils start to finish. Not doing no zenithal or anything like that. And So we're just going straight up with the oils, start to finish. Oh geez, Bithron, yeah, a little bit of Easterlings. Yeah, let's get those. Let's get some Easterling love out there because, well, Easterlings, right? There we go. Yes, indeed, Easterlings all the way. The bestest in all of Middle Earth. Love us some Easterlings. Now, of course, as we heard, there's going to be a Fall of Arnor supplement coming, so that is very, very exciting. Can't wait to see that. Now, J-Rix, we also paint some of our terrain with it. Here's oh, there we go. So there's our Rohan terrain also painted with the, so here we've buildings constructed and then painted with the oil paints. So, well, it works for everything. For vehicles, terrain, miniatures, busts, you name it. We do it all with the oil paints. I'm going to chuck a little more dark there. Now we will just, there's our blending brush. And again, no, hashtag no layers, right? There we go. We no edge on the end of that one. Looking terribly sharp. Now it looks a whole lot sharper. I got some more of our black in here now. So J-Rex, it's actually far better. It is far more resilient. That's a lot of other folks. They, well, it's what was it? Oh, it's let's see, 5. No, he took his army to 7 different tournaments. And that was Grundy, and yeah, he said he was getting bashed into at the tournaments and everything was just fine. So yes, oil paints are far more rugged than acrylic paints. I don't bother sealing anything. I just paint them and let them go. Now there's a little bit of shiny because some colors can dry a little bit shinier than others. Here's looking at Euthalo green. Sometimes I will use that Army Painter anti-shine, but that's it. J-Rex, for some folks, it maybe could take a little bit of getting used to because you have to kind of set aside all the acrylic things that you used to do because these work differently from the acrylic. So some folks can take them a little while to kind of get past that. But for me, I can paint stuff at least 70% faster with the oils than the acrylics. I can guarantee right now these 4 miniatures, here we'll break them all out here. There's 2, there's our other 2. 3 hours and 38 minutes ago, these had no paint on them. There were no tattoos, there were no skin tones, no non-metallic metal, no tartan patterns, no nothing. Last night we did, what was it, a 4-hour stream, about 4 hours, 15 minutes. We did these 3 guys, start to finish, and these 2. So these 5 miniatures in about 4 hours, 15 minutes last night. Hey there, Snapdragon, how you doing? Happy Tuesday. Where did that brush go? There it is. So J-Rex, these actually right here, these are, well, they're not specifically for Warlord Games, but I'm going to be painting in the Warlord booth at a convention in a few days. So these will be on display in the Warlord booth. The Lord of the Rings stuff, well, part of it is it's teaching because, well, we have the Patreon page with all the tutorial vids. But the Lord of the Rings stuff, that's for me because eventually I want to be live streaming games of Lord of the Rings. That's again things like the busts, some of that other stuff. That is also again for things like the Patreon page where we're doing our tutorial videos. Here's another example of that. So this was a 3-part tutorial series on the Patreon page. It started out as some Twitch streams where we had made up these right here. So we just kind of carried that theme on to well, several more of these guys, right? And then things like, okay, the Shatterpoint stuff. So AT, was it AMT or whatever, Atomic Mass Games, they sent these to me. So I was painting those up on the stream. So it's kind of a combination of different things. So Snapdragons, I hope that you're doing well. Again, hopefully your Monday was a good one. So yep, J-Rex, I use oils on everything. Big, small, and everything in between. So this is a bunch of Armada stuff here. Let's see, is that, oh yeah, these are tiny little ships right here. Those are very small little ships right there. And we use the oil paints on those. We've done a whole bunch of streams. I don't think I have any painted ones here, but you can kind of see just how small they are right there next to this. So we've done a ton of those. Again, the oil paints work well for all that kind of stuff since it's very easy to get the paint to be thinner, whereas acrylics, you're working with water, and water has a limitation. It has a limitation of surface tension, and water has much more tension to it than oils do because it's, well, basically thicker. Well, Snapdragon, glad that you got yourself a couple of days there. Hopefully that means, well, you'll be able to get some miniature stuff going then too. Yes, we use, again, oil paints on everything, whether it's, again, small stuff like that, or whether it's larger busts like this, much larger busts than that. Let me see, where's those? I wonder, are they down here? Let me see if that's, no, that's not them, that's not them. Oh, I think it's up this way. Let me see if I've got those there we go. Yeah, so those tanks right there, they're about an inch long. So they are very, very small. And those were all done with oils. I mean, you really can't get much smaller than those little guys, that's for sure. Yeah, that's a couple little darks on that tree there. Now let's see. With our little gobbo here. Yeah, let's get a little. Those things are just too thick and too bright. Alright, we'll see you later there, AD. You have yourself a good night. Again, well, may not be seeing you on stream until next Monday. But no matter what, I'll send you some messages from Little Wars 2, let you know how that's going. What is going on with this here? This tankard here, I'm gonna try and tone some of that down. Yeah, okay, there we are. Let me see if I can't find me a little more light here. On the base. Oh, by the way, this is just tree bark. Tree bark, and of course then we used our homemade texture paste, 3D printed basing bits from Make It Epic Basing. So see you later there, AD. As always, appreciate you being here. Did I need to, yeah, let me get a little bit of light there. Yeah, I'll do that. Bithron, it was kind of funny. You know how the last stream you and I were talking about how the hot wire cutter will kind of generate the smoke, and the Proxon, you can kind of change the temperature of that, and it doesn't do that. Well, of course, recommended for me for the last day and a half now has been a bunch of shifting lands videos. I thought you would get a kick out of that. So it was clearly listening to us, right, Bithron? I'll see you later there, Night Whisper. Appreciate you being here, as always. Thanks so much. Fine, I'll darken that down a little. Get back to this blue here. I'm going to just take in some of the indigo. There's a little too much thinner in it, so I'm going to actually try to just use some of this in other places. Then come back in here and try to just manipulate a couple of these lines here. Maybe make them a little less thick. That's what we can do with the oil paints. Right, it makes the freehand a whole lot easier because we can just manipulate that. More over this thing, yeah, let's... What area's going... I'm gonna say maybe there's even a little gemstone here or something. Speaking of which, we never got the lighter stuff on this one up here. Like that here. Let's take it one more step further with our radiant blue here. Then the light on the top of that, and I might go one more round with the darker stuff here to tighten up a couple of things. Alright, like this. Some of that here. Okay, got the asphaltum. Because we have a whole bunch of middle tones fooling around right next to each other here. And then lights, and not a whole bunch in between. I think I want to get... That's a little too dark. That might be better. There we are. Back of that hand was looking a little too... Yeah, I didn't have quite enough of our red in there. Now we got some lighter skin tone I think we can put into the knuckles here. There we go. Yeah, I just went from 0 to a bazillion way too fast there. I'm going to try to get a little bit of the skin tone in there. I want to see if I can't take some of our tan stuff here. Where's the asphaltum that does? Okay, good. Have a little bit of the Indian yellow in it, because that's just a whole bunch of dark right there. We need to lighten that up a smidge too. So I had to be kind of careful with these, because this material that they made these out of, it's not the most rugged material. Now, I don't know if all of them are made out of this resin or if the new stuff is metal. This is, again, the starter box, so maybe that's a little different than the material that the rest of the stuff comes in. I don't know. That I will be able to find out over the weekend. I'll most certainly find out and let you know what I learn. What do we got going on here? We're going to do that. We're going to do that. And we will do this here. Let me find. Yep, I better put a little something down in there. So again, now that tree, those ferns there, those are 3D printed. I'll make it epic. Basing. Just printed out at 100% size. I've printed some of these trees out at a much bigger size, about twice the size, and they worked out pretty well, I gotta say. Look, you know what? You know what? Let me get back to some of my darker blue here. And I'm just there. Okay, I need to cut down a little bit on the yellow there. There's just a few parts of that where it's a little thicker than what I would like. Creates a little variation too. Okay, and Van Dyke Brown to make these darker. Somehow we lost our lighter stuff in there. And then the shadows on the boar's head, because I'm pretty sure that's what that's supposed to be. Guess I could be wrong. So hopefully I will be able to maybe by Wednesday get the flock and such on these, and then we'll try to post these on the Instagrams. And we'll try to get pictures of these from Little Wars 2. Is that... no, that might be not quite enough of the Terra Rosa in there. That's a little better. Yes, his thumb was missing a little bit of the skin tone there. That's better. I won't take the Indian yellow. And of course, remember the Indian yellow is super translucent, so I'm not glazing that on there. I'm pretty much just dry brushing this Indian yellow over the top of that, and it just starts turning more gold. Now I will come back with some lighter stuff there too. Yeah, I'm gonna do that now. I will take just a touch of the here a little bit more. A little more of the Indian yellow, mix it with our fast matte white. And now we're trying to get our light. There we go. Some of our lightest light there. So that is looking a little more like gold. Not really sure that's exactly what those might have to be, but that's how we're going to do it there. We'll make them like they're gold. Trying to get little shiny glints of light on that gold too, where we can. Ah, that's better. Okay, so now the gemstone's inset there. Let's throw a little bit more of our light this away here. Some more there. On that tree. Now, we'll try to get maybe some moss or something on that tree, I think. I was glad we put some of the dark here on this guy's beard. That got it to separate a little bit some of the strands there. I still have no idea what some of this stuff is back here. Just it kind of seems like it's some kind of like thatching or straw or something. Still not quite sure what some of that is. I mean, I'm gonna maybe go lighter on the ends of these antlers here. That same sort of goldish color. Get that on the hilt of the handle of that knife. See, I'm not doing. Yeah, I was thinking about doing the woad and stuff on him. I'm not gonna do that. Now here, if I use the Terra Rosa down here, is this gonna be too close to the skin color? I don't know. Maybe if I do this. Oh, that's probably too late. I'm gonna go back to my Terra Rosa here. Trying to sort of roughen up the cloth here a little bit too. I guess give it a little bit of texture. That is what all the cool kids do now, right? They do texture on their cloth. So we'll throw a little texture on there. Sure, fine. I guess we'll go a little lighter than that. I mean, this is sort of down in the shadows here, so I don't want to go too crazy with that. You know what? His thumb. That's. I was thinking that was antlers, but no, that's a thumb right there. His little book here. I don't know. I guess I'll try to throw a little light on that too. As we get on our, getting close to our 4-hour mark here, I think I might head over to Drax since Drax is streaming tonight. I do want to say thanks to everybody for all the bits and the subs and the follows and the cheers and the raids too. Appreciate that. Thanks Armored Wolf for doing the moderations. And of course, thanks for all the follows. Gandalf certainly appreciates those. And everybody please check out Armored Wolf Productions for all the fabulous dice bags. And of course, well, things like the crushed glass snow, the replica nature. And thank you so much, Bitsrod, for being here. Yes, indeed. So we were able to accomplish the mission. We now have all 9 of the starter box figures from the Slaine starter box. Those are all finished, all painted, ready to go. So thank you so much, Armored Wolf. Appreciate that. I'll get that raid countdown underway here, because it takes a few seconds for that to go. Here, let's review again. We've got all four of these guys done. There you go, look at that. Including all the tattoos and everything, all done with the oil. So thank you so much, everybody, and I will hopefully see you on the streamiversary next Monday.